You know, the other thing we talked about, Dave, is defensive ends. Well, defensive tackles, two-gapping is an important part, especially a scheme like the Miami Dolphins, where they don't look at guys as defensive tackles under 315 pounds. I mean, that's their cutoff. But a lot of teams like the smaller defensive fronts, and here's some of these smaller defensive tackles that can get off blocks, win the one-on-one battles that we talked about earlier in the game, and shed the blocker, make a play. That's a talent that does not go unnoticed.
And Rob Dregge from Missouri, the left tackle, moving early here.
And on 3.5 yards,
prior to the snap,
that's not what you want to see.
By the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Everybody's still a little bit rusty, with the possible exception of Scott McBrien. And Chris, he looks sharp.
Yeah, he does.
The football.
A chance to do a couple of Scott's games, and he's one of those guys that when he's on, he's really on. And I like the fact that he delivers the ball on time. I mean, that ball is delivered before the receiver makes his cut, and that's what you want in your quarterback, the intangibles and the little things that make him do things the right way. See, the ball's gone. Bam.
And caught for a first down to the 30-yard line. And finally, Kelvin Kite of Florida dragged down after a gain of 11. On 3rd and a little more than 5. Akeel Grant of Northern Illinois, joined by Zach Norton of Cincinnati on the stop.
Right here, you're going to see the ball's being delivered on time. There's a 3-step drop. The ball's delivered. Got a little bit of a sidearm delivery, and this is what I like. After you catch the football, you keep driving upfield. Again, we're talking about intangibles, what these kids need to show. Yards after catch are a huge part of being a great receiver in the NFL.
Right, the Florida Gators leading receiver his senior year, and his Gator teammate Ran Carthon now. He's made a pretty good impression on his coaches as someone who can handle any assignment, whether it's blocking, whether it's running up the middle, trying to get outside. Shown the ability to do it all. Ronald Jones of Southern Miss, the defensive end on this tackle.
Ran Carthon, the son of Maurice Carthon, famous fullback for the Giants, now assistant coach in the NFL. Yeah, I think he's got a pretty good chance at least getting on the film in some scouts' film rooms.
They don't look at him in Dallas. There's a problem. His dad is offensive coordinator. McBrien going deep, man open, caught. And they'll mark him down at the 1-yard line. Georgia's Damian Gary for 25 yards.
These guys look like they've been playing together all their lives, Chris. Scott McBrien throwing on rhythm and throwing on the break, as you indicated. And this is a perfect throw and catch. Good concentration by the quarterback and the wide receiver down to the shadow of the goal line.
You make a point. That was what they call a smash corner route. They'll have a guy underneath and a guy running the corner. And it's a great pass. Why? Because he throws it to a spot as opposed to throwing it to the person. So again, the timing and the delivery are an intangible that NFL guys love to see from their quarterbacks.
Carthon, 1st and goal at the 1-yard line, is in for a touchdown. And the South All-Stars take an early lead 5 minutes in to the Village's Gridiron Classic. Mark Richt sees his group march down as if they've been together months, not days. Carthon finishes the Scott McBrien engineered touchdown drive. Now Billy Bennett, Rick's kicker, at Georgia for the extra point, and it's 7-0.
One of the things you want to see from running backs is the ability not to always fall forward. You got to fall forward when you get hit and bring your feet.
It's a little slice of paradise. Sunshine and golf galore. Where neighbors stroll the old town square and the good life is in store. The Villages.
What are you waiting for? The lifestyle you've dreamed of your whole life awaits in the heart of Central Florida. At the Villages, you'll find our friendly neighbors as warm as Florida sunshine, where smiles and good times are an everyday treat. As a resident, you can play free golf for the rest of your life on the Villages executive courses and receive free lifetime membership in our championship country clubs, including our newest club designed by Hall of Fame golfer Nancy Lopez.
Take on the challenge of the Village's newest championship golf course, named for me, Nancy's Legacy.
And the best part, You don't have to be a millionaire to live a life of luxury at the Villages. Call us toll-free now, and we'll send you a free portfolio featuring a video tour of the Villages and complete information about our award-winning homes and villas. It's the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Call 1-866-780-8252 and ask for your free Villages video tour now.
Make your plans to visit the Villages now.
The Villages, Florida's friendliest hometown.
The Villages.
Visit Weston.com, a member of Starwood Preferred Guest.
I'm Jesse James. A car is not just a way to get from point A to point B. It is the point. That's where the pros at AutoZone can help. They've got the stuff you need to make your car as cool as you want.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Classic, where Nathan Chandler gets set to take the field for the second time. What didn't go well in the first series?
Yeah, it wasn't the way we wanted to start, and we're just going to regroup. We saw some things we can take advantage of there, and you know, we hope to take it down the field here.
You've got a receiver from your team in Maurice Brown. You're going to try and go to him a little bit more?
Yeah, you know, Mo's a great receiver for us. We got a bunch of great receivers here, so we'll just take whatever they give us.
All right, good luck on the series.
Well, Chandler saw a pretty impressive first series by the South as engineered by Scott McBrien. Big play, the 25-yard completion to Damian Gary down to the 1. Ran Carthon, ran it over from there. And Bennett's kick will be returned from the 9 by Carlos Francis at Texas Tech. And Francis out across the 30. Great evening of college basketball tonight here on ESPN. First of all, 5 Eastern, J.J. Redick, Chris Duhon at #1 Duke against B.J. Elder and Georgia Tech. And then at 8 Eastern, ESPN celebrates its 25th season of NCAA basketball by turning the clock back to 1979. Bracy Wright at Indiana against Tom Izzo's Michigan State Spartans. The teams will wear uniforms from 1979. Dick Vitale will wear his glasses from 1979. So you have the good and the bad involved with that matchup. And I'm also told Dan Schulman will wear his hair from 1979.
You know, what's the deal with the glasses now? I think that there's a thickness factor.
Extreme thickness. The term Coke bottle is very accurate when applied. Dick would bring his hair from 79, but even then he had none.
He can't find it.
As long as he brings his enthusiasm, that's what I love about him.
Yeah, he's got that.
Chandler again, the quarterback from the Iowa Hawkeyes, and on 2nd down and 10, looks long, has a man wide open. And run out near the 20 is Kendrick Mosley of Western Michigan, a gain of 45 yards. The Broncos' second all-time leading receiver. He finished his career with a 42-game reception streak.
Now this looks like man coverage. You can be in 3-deep coverage or man. Von Hutchins of Ole Miss gets frozen, a little hitch and go. He settles. Kendrick Mosley runs right by him. Good concentration, nice throw.
So Nathan Chandler talked about, they saw some things on the coming off the field that they could take advantage of. Corners get nosy, they want to make big plays and get noticed. He bites on the hitch and go, as Coach pointed out, and it's off to the races. Although it was pretty good catch-up speed by Von Hutchins, but still, you don't want to get beat early, because they'll come back to it. I'll come right back to it, see if he's got the hitch and go fixed.
One of the things that happens in an all-star game, you get beat on something, and every one of us that's ever played in one of these, Chris, has been through it. Guy beats you on something, you can't get all tense and worried the rest of the game and play poorly.
Pittsburgh's Brandon Myree on that carry, and he loses a couple. Brought down by Derek Tolles of Penn State, so 2nd down and 12. And a nicely carried out fake by Chandler. The throw into the end zone is incomplete. Hutchins that time getting the better of Kendrick Mosley.
I'll tell you, it's a good throw, and you're right. Now, Hutchins is battling a little bit of a size matchup, and he does a good job of getting that long arm in there. Now, Mosley's got to go up and catch the ball at his highest point and take advantage of the size matchup. First of all, they're going to come here with a little play-action draw. Sucks the linebackers up because the fullback was inside. It's a skinny post. Hutchins gets that left end in there. That's got to be a catch-off. He was late getting in there.
Khalid Vaughn applied the pressure of the Clemson defensive end. Good pass rush.
3 wides, you can have that. You can't have all 3 on the same side. And this pass complete inside the 5 to the tight end, Keith Willis of Virginia Tech, and then fumbles, but they're going to rule him down. A 22-yard gain. Willis has the North set up first down and goal.
Anytime you can get on a linebacker right here, it's cover 3, it's a zone coverage. You want to split the seam. Chandler does a good job of recognizing the weakness of the zone. Throws it right over the top of the linebacker. Good adjustment by the big fella. Then again, turning into a running back after he catches the ball.
Good call. Brown caused it at the 4, first and goal. And the toss sweep from Myree. Touchdown. Brandon Myree of Pittsburgh. Another back who had an injury-plagued senior year. He missed 7 games. When he was healthy, he averaged almost 100 yards per game, 5 yards per carry.
And this time, Doug Easlick, number 40, the fullback from Virginia Tech, an unlikely aid to a guy like Myree because they had the big rivalry with Pitt and Virginia Tech. His lead blocker from his rival school, getting him in the end zone.
Steve Azar of Northern Illinois with the extra point. Brandon Myree, perfect example of a guy who can benefit, not yet invited to an NFL combine. Maybe he can change that.
What stands the test of time? Our strongest bonds, our fundamental values. At New York Life, our humanity, integrity, and financial strength provide protection and security for millions of families through changing times. Values that make New York Life the company you keep.
Shower the people you love and show them the way that you feel. Things are going to.
With unlimited local and long-distance calling, you can show people how much you care all the time and never worry about the cost.
Shower the people you love.
The neighborhood, built by MCI. Stay close to the ones you love.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your deodorant is? Get Right Guard, the only one with a power stripe of extra protection. Right Guard, right to the end of the day.
Talk with the kids in your life about drugs and alcohol. And if they're in treatment or recovery, support them, even if you have to practice.
I am so proud of you.
For drug and alcohol information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Master and Commander has just been nominated for 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Live the adventure in theaters everywhere.
Now tell me that wasn't fun.
Master and Commander, rated PG-13.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2004 The Villages Gridiron Classic, brought to you by Florida Citrus Sports, proud presenter of the Villages Gridiron Classic, by the Villages, Florida's friendliest town, and by New York Life, the company you keep.
7-7 game here in the Villages on the Polo Field, where they have constructed Seniors Stadium just for this event. 8:06 to go, first quarter. Retirement community, the Villages, Florida, about an hour or so northwest of Orlando. And Steve Azar with the kick for the North All-Stars. This one hangs up at the 20, and Bruce Perry with the return. Out of bounds around the 35-yard line after Brandon Myree's touchdown. He is with Heather Cox.
And of course, Pittsburgh's Brandon Myree celebrating that touchdown with a good stretch out, getting his hamstring stretched as we speak. Brandon, you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm getting stretched by another Pitt grad over here. You know, I kind of pulled during the week, and he's helping me out.
Now, we talked a lot during the week. You took the Wonderlic test. You went through a lot of routine. What was harder, taking that test or preparing for this game?
taking the test. No, all the personality tests, I probably took 4.5, 5 hours worth of tests this week, personality test, and your brain is just fried. But it's a great experience if you want to get to the next level.
I'll let you get back to the field.
Yeah, Brandon says he thinks he did pretty well on that Wonderlic test, basically an NFL's version of the SAT and intelligence test. What was your score, Chris?
Don't remember,
Share
Dave.
it with the world.
I don't remember. I just said, look, you can tell me 2 + 2 is 4. I understand that, but the only rule I know and the only answer I can give you is see ball, get ball. I'm a linebacker. Show me where it is, I'll go get him.
Well, that's probably an A.
I got an A, yeah.
Brian fumbling the snap, recovered it for a loss of 2, and now the handoff bobbled by Zach Abron of Missouri, and again recovered by the South, but again for a loss.
I was scared to death you were going to ask me my score, Dave.
Well, you predated the Wonderlic.
When I came up in the league, they had not developed the test at that point.
So now you did that with like stone and tablets with your answers, right? You had to chisel that out.
No, you're as bad as Golick. You've been talking to Mike Golick, haven't you?
No, because I didn't say you folded up your helmet and put it in your back pocket yet.
Well, you had to get that in, though.
3 wideouts on 3rd and 13. Very early movement by Oklahoma State's Kareem Smith. And the flags reflecting that down to Heather.
Dave, a little bit more on that. Dave, a little bit more on that infamous Wonderlic test. Actually, Brandon Myree went online to look at the average score. He said the average engineer scores 21. Now, there's 50 questions, but the catch is you have to answer them in 12 minutes. A scout also told Brandon that there was only one player to ever get all 50 of them correct. It was Jonathan Ogden, the former UCLA Bruin that then went on to Baltimore. So just one player has gotten all 50. That's amazing.
And it wasn't Chris Spiel.
No, and it was an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Again, Kareem Smith with the early jump. Alan Suber of Bethune-Cookman.
You know, one of the reasons why first of all, the false starts is because you have a different cadence. I mean, you've been doing the same cadence with the guys for a year.
Yeah, but Chris, this is a defensive guy.
Yeah.
This is not. He's not listening to the cadence.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
they are.
Kareem Smith. No, he's guessing.
Penalty decline. First down.
Kareem Smith sat with me on the bus yesterday. Yeah. He's a delightful young man. He's trying to get a jump on the snap count. He's guessing a little bit. And he's been wrong twice in a row, but I imagine he'll keep right on because he really, really wants to play well.
Well, he doesn't have to answer to any coaches in the film session on Monday morning,
right.
so he's going to go watch it and try to get that edge.
He has a degree in education. He wants to teach grammar school. Really a delightful young man.
Born in Jamaica, Carroll City High School in Miami.
But you're right about one thing, Coach, and Scott McBrien's doing a good job of hard counting, but as defensive lineman, you're supposed to either periff the ball or look at the ball if you can get an angle on it and get a jump. You cannot be distracted by the cadence of a quarterback. See, they've been off work for a couple weeks now too, those officials.
But this D-line's been offsides 3 times in a row now. What you do is guarantee that you have to stay on the field. That's Jeffrey Ruffin that time, number 98, jumping.
Finally, everybody stays put, and Abron with the carry for very short yardage, just a couple up near midfield. From Lake St. Louis, Missouri, and the Mizzou Tigers.
One guy that's been impressive, and I know it's repeating the obvious, but it's Scotty McBrien. But now he's a shorter guy. He's about 6 foot as a quarterback, but he finds different deliveries. He'll deliver the ball sidearm. He'll deliver the ball over the top. And he's able to sight his passing lane and be able to maneuver his arm to deliver the football on time any way you want it. Underhand, overhand, 3/4, 2/4, whatever you want, or half.
On 3rd and 7, right on target for Carlos Perez of Florida, and a first down.
Now, in theory, with the coverages that are being used in this game, you're only allowed 3-deep coverage, zone, or man with a free safety, meaning man-to-man with the linebackers and the corners and the free safety playing deep. You should be able to march down the field the way McBrien's doing if you can just set up and throw the ball on rhythm, and that's what he's doing so well.
And get protection like the offensive line's doing right now.
McBrien is a perfect 5 out of 5 for 65 yards. And this deep heave is intercepted at the 2-yard line, picked off by Michael Harden.
The Bryant pass intended for Michael Johnson. That pass picked off by number 6, Sam Massey, for the North.
Make it Sam Massey with the interception.
Here you're going to see Sam Massey. He's in his back pedal, and he doesn't get pressed by the receiver. And watch him look and lean, use his body, lean into the receiver. And I talked about earlier how the receiver from the North should go up and catch the ball at the highest point. Right there, Sam Massey shows him how to do it. Goes to the highest point, boxes out like a basketball player, prevents the receiver from getting the ball, and makes a great play to get on camera. Hello, world. I'm here.
I've been a Nimrod since 1938. I have 2 daughters. They're both Nimrods.
We have 78 high school students. We have 19 boys out for our high school basketball team, and they're all proud to be Waters Meet Nimrods.
Everybody looks forward to basketball games. We love them here.
Hello, my name is Joseph Aldiger, president of the Mortgage Exchange. Most renters don't buy a home because they have no money for a down payment. Call the Mortgage Exchange today, and we'll show you how to qualify for a grant that you can use for your down payment. And this grant never has to be paid back, ever.
Own, don't rent. Call 800-FUNDS-34 now. That's 800-FUNDS-34.
The following is an urgent message for all inventors. Who cashed in on your last great idea? Do you have another invention? Do you need a patent? Then you need InventTech.
Everyone laughed at my pot that cooked and drained pasta. If I had the patent, I'd be rich.
Snap your fingers, turn on a light. That was my idea, but I never thought to get a patent.
Call InventTech now for a free inventor's kit and get our free video or DVD with your confidential submission. Call 1-800-403-6622.
Back at the Villages, and boy, did Sam Massey make a statement with that interception. How'd you get a read on McBrien's pass?
I just took care of the scheme. We knew the down the distance, so we knew they had to go deep, either go for a comeback, so I just went ahead and made the play. I played the play because, I read the quarterback out and saw what he was doing, so I took care of my responsibility.
If you didn't play one more down in this ball game, would you be satisfied?
Yeah, I got what I wanted, so yeah, that interception was big for me coming out of a small school, so I'm making a statement today.
Nicely done, Sam. Certainly getting it done, guys.
From Morgan State, and Troy Fleming of Tennessee carries for 12 yards.
Troy Fleming is another very versatile, terrific football player. Rushed for over 9,000 yards in high school in the state of Tennessee, and he wants people to know he can run with the ball as well as block and catch it.
Matt Kegel now the quarterback out of Washington State. Fresh off their Holiday Bowl upset of Texas. Product of Montana, cousin of Ryan Leaf. Backed up Jason Gesser for the first 3 years of his career. Still managed to finish as the number 6 all-time passer in Cougar history. Second team all Pac-10 conference last year. Threw for a couple touchdowns in the Holiday. Second down and 10.
Red 48. Red 45.
Fleming. A lone setback. And the draw only out to the 15-yard line. Second leading rusher in high school history. That's not just Tennessee, Bill. That is national high school history.
That's right. And he was a utility back. He was a marvelous player for Tennessee, but he played fullback, he blocked, he caught the ball, he was a good leader, and he ran the ball as well, but he didn't get a chance to play tailback and run up the big yardage, and he wants people in the NFL to know he can do that too.
Well, showing those other skills as far as being able to block and catch the ball certainly helps his status. That's a catch he needs to make.
Had a chance
to make that.
Even though it's a little bit behind him, still you have to be able to make a catch.
Got to make that
right
catch.
on your hands.
Right.
He's a good pass catcher in Tennessee. 36, 2 touchdowns during the regular season. Let's this one get through his hands.
Yeah, that's a catch you have to make.
Yeah, that was right. That really was a pretty good throw. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough that it should have been caught.
And I've been in rooms where scouts watch films and great films, and people think, well, that's just one drop. No, they mark that down. There's a bounce back. A good job by the punter getting that grounder.
Scooped it like A-Rod. And then not much on the kick by Skaggs. It'll roll down to the 46.
Just to finish my point real quick on watching films with scouts, they'll mark down every little mistake. Now that will be one where, well, he didn't adjust on a bad ball. So in order to counter that mistake, he's got to have another opportunity to make a catch, at least when they break down this game.
South All-Stars will have great field position when we come back.
So just when I'm thinking, isn't there a car out there I could get excited about? Wham! There's this car with all this stuff. Then as I'm thinking, now here's a car I could see myself in. Wham! There's this other car with all this stuff. Two cars, the same, yet different. Kind of like those twins I met in Chicago.
The all-new Mazda 3 and Mazda 3 5-door. Rethink what's possible.
You want to see how we do football? Keep your eye on this. Bring it! This ain't just football. This is NFL Street. Rated E for everyone.
EA Sports.
Cavett Pinot Noir from the Cavett collection. Make it interesting.
It's just something I always knew was there.
Whatever works. I guess you could always do something.
Cavett Pinot Grigio from the Cavett collection. Make it interesting.
Who's rising? Who's shining? Who's next? ESPN the magazine. On newsstands now.
Folks, bundled up. This is very cool for Central Florida this time of the year. Temperatures 40s, 50s for a high today. Chance of rain, although we've stayed dry so far with 3:10 to go in the first quarter. The Gridiron Classic. And the South All-Stars, after the 38-yard punt by John Skaggs, take over at their 46. McBrien and Perry, the Maryland Terps, in the backfield. And McBrien hit as he throws that one incomplete. Let's send it again down below to Heather Cox.
And I am joined by a very special guest, Frank Solich, the former coach of Nebraska, and following a 9-3 season, lost your job. Describe the emotions that you must have been going through the last couple of months.
Well, it's been tough on a lot of people. Certainly, the families of the coaches involved, and that can happen in college football, of course. But it's been difficult. But I know everybody's moving forward. Everybody's looking forward to getting back in the game and getting around players again.
On a bright side, you certainly have two great players competing here this week. How have you enjoyed watching them, and how would you assess their play this week?
Well, that's been the good thing about this. I've had a chance to come down and be around them a little bit. They've done so much for Nebraska, and I want to see them do so well, not only in this game, but hopefully in the pro game. And they've practiced well this week. They've really concentrated, worked hard at it.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Continued success in all your future endeavors. Good luck to you. All right, Dave.
Well, we're in an era where Frank Solich can coach a team that ends up winning 10 games. That's not enough. He's gone. Byron Scott takes the New Jersey Nets to the NBA Finals twice in a row. He's gone. The world is upside down. Coach these days. 3rd and 1 after the carry by Bruce Perry. He handles the pitch pretty well and gets the first down yardage to the 38. But this is a very difficult time for Frank Solich, and I think it's got to be therapeutic for him to be around an old Nebraska guy like Barry Alvarez and get a chance to see some of his former players like Jamal Lord.
Well, the idea was to come out here and be with Coach Alvarez. They were old staff mates at Nebraska, and Barry played at Nebraska and just a little bit after Frank Solich, and you get around other coaches and you get to feeling better and you get ready to get back in it, because the business is insane in some ways.
McBrien sees the protection break down, and he's sacked by a Southern Miss is Ronald Jones.
This is what we talk about as far as making an impression and winning your one-on-one individual battles. Ronald Jones comes off the corner, and what I liked, he accelerated to the quarterback. He got free off the move. He's able to make the play. Watch, you'll see Ronald Jones pop into your pitcher, beats the offensive tackle. And there's the acceleration to the quarterback and is able to finish the play. He almost got away, but he was able to finish. That's a sack. Sack's a sack.
Team All-Conference USA. Jones for a loss of 4. Second down toss incomplete on a pattern in which the receiver Perez turned in, and McBride threw an out, so it'll be 3rd and 14.
Yeah, Perez brought that curl route in too much. Now, if you want to curl and it gets a 3-deep zone, which it was, you want to set it outside the numbers because the underneath coverage is coming from the inside of the field. So you want to run that route as far to the numbers as you can for obvious reasons, because it takes longer for the underneath cover guy to get there. Perez was wrong. McBride was right.
Alan Super comes wide left. Quarterback at Bethune-Cookman. We're getting a chance to show what he can do as a receiver here. There are flags and whistles.
Another thing that happens in all-star games is you don't keep the same offensive line.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Last time the South squad was on the field, they marched courtesy of the defense with 3 offside penalties. Now they're giving it back with offensive linemen moving. This time Calvin McDonald, number 78 from New Mexico, and you come in and you're just in the game. You're a little excited. You're not accustomed to the snap count. So hopefully these things get ironed out as we get into the second quarter.
3rd and 19. Scott McBride hit his first 5 passes and has now missed his last 3. Goes with 3 wides here. Steps up against pressure, throws short for Carthon, and the gain will be a short one to the 42. Tonight, Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Steve Young have all the news and stories live from Houston on the eve of Super Bowl 38 in a special edition of NFL Prime Time, presented by Miller Lite at 7 Eastern. And then Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, Chris, Michael Urban, Tom Jackson, Chris Mortensen, and Steve Young ready to go with the breakdown and the live reports from Reliance Stadium in Houston, the site of Super Bowl 38. NFL Countdown presented by Old Spice, 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. What a punt. And it is killed on the 1-yard line. Scott Verhalen of East Texas Baptist, a Division III program which saw Verhalen lead the nation in Division III punting 3 times, a 3-time All-America. And this one is killed, they say, at the 2-yard line.
Well, this is a ball that you got to let go. That's the rule. It's inside the 5. And I'll tell you, Zach Abron, running back from Missouri, does a great job of hustling down on special teams. And believe me, every part of your game will be broken down. And that time, Zach showed something, said, look, not only can I do it out of the backfield, I can also cover kicks, which is huge in making a football team.
So from the 2, Kegel fumbles as he avoids the safety, and he may turn it over on the 2-yard line to the south. It is a South All-Star recovery.
Number 98, Robert Pollard, applied the pressure. TCU pass rusher.
Maurice Jones with the recovery, the linebacker from South Florida.
You see the good pressure right there by Pollard on a bull rush. They call that a bull rush. His hands were inside, coach. Hands inside, you win. And right there, he takes the offensive tackle back into Kegel's lap. Kegel, #1 rule, ball security. Protect the football.
You talk about hands inside, though. Let's clarify that. You're talking about he got his hands inside the blocker's hands and got him on his pads and got him up in the air and bulled him back into the quarterback, and that's how all that happened.
He had to beat his punch. Who's got the quicker punch? It's just like a boxing match. Quicker punch wins.
1st and goal, 1-yard line. With the leap is Luke Lawton of McNeese State for the touchdown.
Luke Lawton's been waiting all his life to get to spike a ball. You can't do that when you're playing in a regular game. They're not going to call this sort of thing in this game today. So when he scored at McNeese State, he had to hand the ball to the official or get penalized. This time he jumped up and spiked.
It looked like he'd been waiting all his life after that nasty spike.
He also was the snapper for the previous punt. He was the first man down. I'm just adding to the things that I said about him in the open. The other thing that I should add is Zach Abron, who's also a fullback. He's from Missouri, is out there covering kicks and did a great job, as Chris pointed out, in downing the ball down so close, which led to the sequence that ended up in a touchdown.
Extra point by Billy Bennett. 14-7 on the final play of the first quarter. Two-time All-Southland Conference fullback Luke Lawton gives the South the lead.
ESPN HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today.
Going down. Yes.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your deodorant is? Get Right Guard, the only one with a power stripe of extra protection. Right Guard, right to the end of the day.
In Italian cooking, everything must be filled with happiness. Even the lasagna. So Olive Garden introduces 3-meat or delicious chicken and portobello mushroom lasagna, starting at $9.95. Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
We go through this every time. Red.
Blue.
Leather.
Cloth.
Whoa, now that's a car.
No, that's my car. I built it on the web, and they sent me that the next day. Printed and personalized. My color, my interior, where to go. They even gave me a free CD player. It can be here in a week.
Well, at least we talked about it.
Come on, come on. All I want is a room somewhere, a nice hello, not a questionnaire, and a great breakfast on the house. Local calls, no charge, thank you, and someone who calls me by name and says,
"Hey, Mr. Jensen, you missed a button there." At Hampton Inn, you got it, Mr. Jensen. With our best rates guaranteed, and with all this, you won't get a better deal anywhere. We love having you here.
Oh, wouldn't it be lovely?
So, what would you like? Hair like yours, soft, smooth, flake-free. What's your secret? If you can believe it, I use Head & Shoulders. What? My father used that.
Today's Head & Shoulders Hydrating Smooth and Silky with twice as many moisturizers.
You get flake-free, silky smooth, touchably beautiful hair. It's come a long way from my father's shampoo.
Head & Shoulders, flake-free and silky smooth. Surprise yourself.
Back for quarter number 2, the Village's Gridiron Classic. South taking a 14-7 lead on the last play of the first quarter. Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, Chris Spielman, and Heather Cox. About an hour northwest of Orlando, Florida, on this polo field turned football field just for this very event. Moved up from the Citrus Bowl, where it was played for the first 5 years of its history. And Bennett's kick to begin quarter number 2, bobbled by Carlos Francis. And then returned to the 27-yard line by the former Red Raider of Texas Tech. Odd to see a Texas Tech X on the North All-Star team, but that's where he is. And his return will set up the North All-Stars with their possession, trailing for the first time 14-7, the 27-yard line. And Jim Sorgi of Wisconsin, playing for his head coach Barry Alvarez, will get his first series at quarterback. Troy Fleming remains the tailback. Doug Eastlick of Virginia Tech is the fullback. And the toss to Fleming. Very close to a first down. Let's send it down below to Heather.
All right, Luke, my first question. How much thought went into that celebration? First time you're ever able to celebrate, did you plan it?
Yes. I've been wanting to spike the ball for about 15 years, and I can finally do it without getting a penalty. It feels good.
Your head coach, Mark Richt, told me that you would be the MVP of this game. What does he know that NFL scouts don't know yet about you?
You can't measure the size of somebody's heart. Height and weight, doesn't matter. It's what's in here.
Certainly impressive, Luke.
Thank you.
Of Florida. Daryl Lee moving early. But drawn offsides by the tight end Keith Willis of Virginia Tech. Well, Bill, you're about right. 15 years Luke Lawton had waited for the legal spike opportunity.
Yeah, see, the guy's only 21 years old, so he started thinking about it when he was 6. He wanted to spike that ball.
Off to a pretty decent start for game's MVP honors. Fleming normally would have been ruled down as soon as the knee touched, but they're not going by the college rules here. So Leon Joe, the linebacker from Maryland, had to secure Fleming after he got back up.
I noticed that Fleming wasn't thinking NFL, and Leon was. If I were a linebacker, I would love to think NFL and drill him after. I think Fleming was just going to get up like his normal college situation. He got drilled.
Actually, Fleming did a good time there of catching the football.
Yes,
again,
he did.
atoning for the earlier drop. Now, that earlier drop's erased in those scouts' minds because he made a nice catch on the ball right there.
Sorgi floats one complete to Kendrick Mosley. Great job getting the feet down and a gain of 11 for the first down at the 41.
Yeah, this is a good job by Jim Sorgi. First of all, good protection by the offensive line. They win their individual battles, and Sorgi throws it up high, only where Mosley can bring it, and does a nice job of working the sidelines, having field presence and awareness, getting both feet in bounds, applying and practicing for the pro rules.
Western Michigan, a punt returner there as well. Fleming gets loose and into the secondary and finally brought down by Michael Waddell of North Carolina, but not before gain of 21 yards.
I'll tell you what Troy might do. He might send a copy of this tape to Philip Fulmer.
Yeah.
Say, Coach, just a reminder, I can do this too. Now there's Doug Easlick out there leading. Not a beautiful block, but an effective one. And that springs Fleming into the secondary. He's probably the leading rusher so far.
What Fleming showed there, Coach, was burst.
Yep.
You got a second. If you want to be an NFL tailback, you better have a second gear. You see a hole, you got to accelerate through the hole.
Over the middle, and Willis with the catch, even as he's drilled by Waddell, 18 yards inside the 20. Willis, who had only 5 catches during the regular season, and then in the Insight Bowl caught 2 touchdown passes.
See, this is where linebackers have got to be able to understand that if you're playing zone coverage, that does not mean you drop and cover the grass or the dirt. You've got to take people that run through your zone, and just because the tight end is running to the safety, you still got to carry him up to a distance. That time Fleming makes him hurt. You got to carry the receiver as far as the ball.
Fleming, who is in fact the game's leading receiver, he had 43 yards before that one. His 6th carry.
Vision is something again that you cannot teach. As a linebacker, the one thing I never wanted taken away from me was my vision, because it helped me. And right there, Fleming shows great vision and cutback ability. Why? Because the shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage. He's able to make the cut. Eastwick gets a block, and Fleming's off to the races and running with power.
A record-setting high school career of his in Franklin, Tennessee included a 3,000-yard season. Over the middle, Willis, touchdown.
Covering dirt again.
Well, wait. The ball came out. Let's see if in the judgment of the officials, they're acting like it's a touchdown. I did not see a signal.
They signal it.
The officials are deploying as if for an extra point. You talk about somebody that helps themselves, a guy that caught 5 balls the whole year. What's he got, 3 now, and he's catching it in traffic. He's getting drilled, and he's hanging on. Lost that one late with a touchdown.
The extra point, barely good. Azar, low duck hook, but he brought it through and tied it at 14 after the touchdown catch by Virginia Tech's Keith Willis.
It's a little slice of paradise. Sunshine and golf galore. Where neighbors stroll the old town square and the good life is in store. The Villages.
What are you waiting for? The lifestyle you've dreamed of your whole life awaits in the heart of Central Florida. At the Villages, you'll find our friendly neighbors as warm as Florida sunshine, where smiles and good times are an everyday treat. As a resident, you can play free golf for the rest of your life on the Villages executive courses and receive free lifetime membership in our championship country clubs, including our newest club designed by Hall of Fame golfer Nancy Lopez.
Take on the challenge of the Village's newest championship golf course, named for me, Nancy's Legacy.
And the best part, You don't have to be a millionaire to live a life of luxury at the Villages. Call us toll-free now, and we'll send you a free portfolio featuring a video tour of the Villages and complete information about our award-winning homes and villas. It's the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Call 1-866-780-8252 and ask for your free Villages video tour now.
Make your plans to visit the Villages now.
The Villages, Florida's friendliest hometown.
If only the world were as race-inspired. The 6-speed, 200-horsepower Acura RSX Type S.
Keith Willis, who has tied the game at 14 with 11:02 to go in the second quarter. In this Villages Gridiron Classic, formerly one team consisting of Florida products, high school or college, against the team picking from the other 49 states. It's North versus South this year, and the kick goes out of bounds and draws the flag. Steve Azar has got the case of the hooks. Almost missed the extra point. Let's send it down to Heather.
I am joined by the Director of Recreation here at the Villages, John Rowan. And John, the involvement has been amazing. How did you know this community would embrace this game?
Our residents love sporting events. We've held some major LPGA events here. We've had some PBA events here. We actually turned Town Square into an outside bowling arena one time. And when we announced that we were bringing the Villages Gridiron Classic here, we felt our residents were going to come out and support it. We had the Nancy Lopez, Arnold Palmer here opening up the Arnold Palmer Legends Golf Course. We had 3,500 residents come out to see them play 9 holes of golf in the new golf course. And we knew they'd come out and support it. We have residents from all over the country. We have 58 different teams recognized, and there's alumni from each of the different teams supporting all the players out here.
Well, it has certainly been impressive. Not only that, there's about 4,000 golf carts that you guys saw parked outside. I think 200 Ohio State, 200 Penn State alums. So certainly been an impressive day. Thanks for your time, and congrats on a great event.
Thank you.
And the new quarterback, Robert Kent of Jackson State, getting his first series. He holds all the Jackson State passing records. Dean's List student, also played #1 singles on the tennis team. And Rolls decides to keep, puts a pretty nice fake on the defensive end, Derek Strong of Illinois, before finally being run out of bounds right at midfield. Big 6'5", 221-pounder.
What I like about him right here is he's going to go ahead and lower his shoulder.
Yeah, that was the QB that delivered the hit.
Yeah, that's on T.J. Hollowell. Now, Hollowell's being a linebacker. You got a chance to take a shot at the QB. You got to take him out, all-star game or not. He's in between the lines. He's fair game. Yeah, see, he tried to held up on him. That's how you get hurt. Go ahead and take him down. If he's going to lower his shoulder, take him down.
Out of Indianola, Mississippi. Kent throwing incomplete, intended for Damian Gary.
Robert Kent, according to Mark Richt, his coach, has it all. He's the only 1AA guy here that plays quarterback. He's got height, he's got the delivery, he's got the intelligence, and the coaches here really feel like he's got a marvelous chance to play in the NFL. Now, he short-armed that one a little bit. He needs to calm down. There's a bunch of adrenaline. He just ran over a linebacker. He enjoyed that, Chris. Yeah. But now he's got to calm down and just sort of throw the football like he can throw it.
On 2nd and 10, the carry by Bruce Perry, and he gets about 4 yards before being sent straight backwards.
Yeah, Eli Ward from Minnesota comes up and delivers a hit. Now, we do the Big Ten quite a bit, and Eli Ward's one of those strong safeties if you're looking for a guy that's a good zone cover player and also a guy that can fill the run. A lot of times in pro football, your strong safety is your third linebacker. They'll come up and make hits and plays like a linebacker. Very good tackler, Eli Ward.
But Doug Graber, who's the new secondary coach for the Jets, says he really likes Ward as a potential Jet player. He's gonna talk to his people about it.
Into the air on 3rd and 6, and another underthrow intended for Gary again.
And what he's doing, he's throwing off of his back foot, and sometimes you do get in a hurry if you got the adrenaline going and you're throwing off your back foot. A lot of times the ball will come up short, as his previous passes. You're going to see right here on the drop back, he's looking one way, and right there before he's set, he's leaning on his back foot. He does not get his whole body into the throw, which causes the one hopper. I'm not talking about the Bugs Life hopper either. I'm talking about a one hopper pass. Oh, I got Disney on my mind. You guys understand.
I didn't understand anything.
That's because you spent the last 4 days at Disney like me.
Halen, who killed one on the 2-yard line earlier, gets this one inside the 20, 29-yarder, but then at the 16 in a 14-14 tie.
Introducing Visa Extras for small business. It's kind of like finding free stuff at work. Enroll now, and when you use your Visa business card, qualifying purchases earn points for everything from office supplies to travel. Even select NFL tickets. Sign up at visa.com/Visa Extras.
You know, Bugsy, in our line of work, I'm glad we have that insurance. What insurance, Doc? Nope, that's not it. The one that pays you cash if you get hurt and can't work. And Dad's, it's right on the tip of my bill. Flapjack.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Tink, I knew the name all along.
48 microprocessors for speed. Voice recognition for ease. And satellite tracking in case of theft or emergency. Or if you just want a good seafood restaurant. The technologically advanced Acura RL. Whether you measure it in horsepower or gigabytes.
An undercover agent falls for a call girl.
I haven't been kissed in 3 years.
Who's out for vengeance.
I don't know where you got the idea that I'm a killer.
Line of Fire, Tuesday at 10/9 Central on ABC. Viewer discretion is advised.
From all across the land, they descend upon the island.
Hey, that's wide enough.
Football is the great game. These are its greatest players. The 2004 Pro Bowl, Sunday, February 8th in primetime.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2004 The Villages Gridiron Classic. Brought to you by The Villages, Florida's friendliest town. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
If heaven has a parking lot, that's what it would look like.
Oh, you wouldn't need a golf cart in heaven.
Well, I was thinking probably what. I think you're right, but if, just in case, that would be the mode of transportation, wouldn't you think?
You know, I took a stroll through there before the game, and usually
you
people
were just
listen to
hoping all those Buckeyes would recognize you.
Yeah, I didn't know that they played Tom Jones as their fire-up music, which is a little interesting.
Nathan Chandler back at quarterback, Troy Fleming on the carry, and as advertised, Scott McBrien is wired for us today.
Good job, let's go. Hey, let's keep it up. Let's keep it up. Hey, good ground, man. Son, hunt. Son, hunt. Woo! Woo! Hey, do something. Hey, do something.
Chandler. Intercepted by Robert Reynolds of Ohio State. Off the deflection, Reynolds returns it inside the 20. It bounced off the hands of Robbie Bryant of Tulsa, and Reynolds brings it back 16 yards. Starter for the national champs. Two-time Fiesta champs, former Kentucky High School Player of the Year. Robert Reynolds with the takeaway.
It's too bad for Chandler because it's the best throw he's had all day. It's a beautiful rhythm pass, and then the ball is knocked out, And your Buckeye picks it off.
Well, what he does here is he's getting depth on his drop. He doesn't stop at the play. He's running to the football.
He's not covering grass.
And no, he's not covering dirt. He's going to go make a hit. And I like it here. He turns into a pretty good running back. Then he's trying to, I don't know what he's doing at the end there.
Yeah, it's that pitch back.
You don't do no pitch backs.
On the scramble, Robert Kent turns it inside the 10-yard line. They'll mark him right at first down marker, and knocked out there by Wisconsin's Jeff Mack, the linebacker. That could actually have been a fumble. I think Robbie Bryant actually had it long enough that they could have considered it a catch and a fumble as we look at one more angle of the Kent scramble. But Reynolds, I think, at this point credited with an interception.
Yep, should be. And Dave, I want to tell you something about that play right there. Hollowell, again, sometimes when a quarterback is struggling throwing the football, a way to get his confidence back is start using his feet, make up some positive yards by running the ball.
Bruce Perry to zig and zag a little bit just to get a yard. Michigan defensive tackle Norman Hewer in on the stop. Real opportunity for Bruce Perry, former ACC Offensive Player of the Year, to salvage something out of his injury-plagued senior year.
Good shot by Norman Hewer, and a nice job of Bruce Perry avoiding Mack, the middle linebacker from Wisconsin. That's what I like about Bruce Perry. He's very patient. He has good initial quickness and good side-to-side burst. He's not going to lose yards, and like all good running backs, one tackle will fall forward.
1,200 yards in 2001, less than 1,000 the next 2 years combined because of the injury problems. That is Kevin Beard of Miami with the catch. His first of the afternoon, and not quite down to the goal line. They're going to mark him inside the 1. Where it is first and goal.
And it's our first opportunity to see Robert Kent throw with his normal motion. He's still throwing a bit with his arm, but he did step into the throw, and he got plenty of juice on it. Nice catch by Beard, almost in the end zone. But Kent shows great potential. He needs a little work on his fundamentals, and he's stepping into his throws.
But again, the confidence was there in that throw. Yep. I believe because he made a good play with his feet.
Inches away, Ran Carthon stood up at the line of scrimmage and then continued to move the feet, but they have marked his progress already right at about where he started.
Jeff Mack and Mark Jackson of Illinois, number 11, the strong safety, met him right in the hole, and it was interesting. The offensive lineman didn't block anybody. They stood up and signaled touchdown. Come on, guys. Move your feet, block. We don't need you to signal the touchdown.
Especially down on the goal line. Pad level wins the battle. Low man wins. You got to get down there and be like a root hog or a groundhog, and whoever lower, you go down there and you start digging, right? You used to do that. You go down there, you dig in all fours and go after it, right?
Root hog or die.
Yeah, there you go.
Timeout called by the South. Let's go back down below to Heather.
Robert making an incredible play. How did you keep your eye on that tip to make the play?
My man Reed over here made a good break on the ball, and he just tipped it up in the air, and I was fortunate enough to run underneath it and catch it.
You're a Buckeye. Chris Spielman's a Buckeye. You guys chatted before the game. Did he motivate you and inspire you at all?
Anytime I'm around Chris, he's just motivating. Just his own personality motivates you to inspire to be like he is.
What are you trying to show those NFL scouts today?
That I have the ability to play at the next level, and I feel like I do.
Congratulations on a great play. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
You know, it was nice that he and Jim Sorgi have made up. They were co-captains today.
Well, they had that issue, obviously, where Robert is really a great kid and got the reputation of being a dirty football player. He just had one of those moments during the game where he lost his mind, which happened to me. He certainly apologized. Coach Alvarez, he called Jim Sorgi, apologized. He did the right thing. He made the best out of a bad situation. And being the class guy that Barry Alvarez is and Jim Sorgi, they accepted his apology, and they've gotten along great all week down here. Robert can play at the next level because he can play both outside and middle linebacker. Again, versatility.
Touchdown on the sneak, Robert Kent.
What I like is the way he runs. He's just fluid. I mean, you could really see acceleration. Yeah. He looked like a young Chris Spielman right there. It was awesome.
He's faster than Chris Spielman. Okay, good call. Now let's see who wins the pad level battle. See that the red shirts are lower than the red pants. So when the red shirts are lower than the red pants, all Ken has to do, being 6'5", is use his leverage and height and get the ball over. But they won the pad level battle. That's why he's in the end zone.
Billy Bennett finished his career with the NCAA records for field goals in a career and a single season. Makes it 21-14 South. After the touchdown sneak by Jackson State's Robert Kent with 5:38 to go in the first half.
Could you dedicate yourself to a worthy cause? Could you go the distance to keep a child healthy? Could you travel across the globe to help eliminate polio? A Rotary member could. We're dedicated to connecting children with vaccinations and ending polio by 2005. Could you help change the world? Rotary, the means to polio's end.
You never have to wait to connect to Comcast high-speed internet service.
You getting online?
Yep.
Where's the noise?
What noise?
You know that.
We're always connected, so there's no noise.
Good, I hate that noise.
No dialing up, always connected. No noise. Comcast high-speed internet. Call now and get this great deal.
Got a project? Need some tools to get it done? Don't spend a lot of money buying something new. Come on down and rent them. We've got them all right here. If you can dream it, we'll help you do it. And you'll save a lot of dough. For solid dependability in rentals, you can rely on Wirtz Rental Company in Chicago and Summit. Renting, the smart way to get things done.
Robert Kent soaking up a little national exposure from Jackson State. All the passing records are his, and the go-ahead touchdown is his for the South All-Stars. 5:38 to go in the second quarter. He has made it 21-14.
Two great pros, Hall of Famers, Walter Payton and Jackie Slater, I believe, was a great player from
Jackie Slater came from Jackson State, as did Walter. I think Walter may have been the best football player I ever saw.
Yeah, he was great. Awesome.
Kickoff's fairly short again, and Bennett's kick returned by Francis near midfield. They'll mark him at the 46-yard line, down again to Heather Cox.
Dave, the Gridiron Classic has raised nearly $1 million to help solve paralysis by supporting the Bonacondi Fund, which was founded in 1985 when Nick Bonacondi, the NFL Hall of Famer's son, was paralyzed while playing football for the Citadel. And I am now joined by Nick. Now, why the Gridiron Classic as a venue for fundraising?
Well, because it makes sense. Mark got hurt playing football. I think my notoriety comes from football. And I think people who are involved in football want to support something like the Miami Project, where we're the largest, most comprehensive spinal cord injury research center in the world. But we have to raise $20 million every year for research, and this goes a long way towards that, Heather.
What's it like to sit here and watch this competition, knowing the very root of it is really the main goal is to find a cure for paralysis? How motivating is that for you?
Well, it's great because Mark Rick, the coach from the South, and Barry Alvarez, the coach from the North, are friends, and here they are. They're giving their time to come and coach these great all-stars here, and we're going to raise the money that we need for research. And when you ask athletes, will you support something like this, every single one of them, Bill Curry's up in the booth, and he was one of the first who came to our support. They know what the cause is, they know they want to support it, and they know they want to help us find a cure.
We wish you continued success. And Bill, I know that you and Nick played together. I'm sure you've got some great memories to share with us.
Well, I wish they were pleasant. I couldn't block him. I couldn't find him. He was such a mercurial middle linebacker. Didn't have the normal size you expect to see, but he had great reaction. He was a great football player. I used to be frustrated chasing him around the field, and I have empathized with Mark and Nick and the Bonacondi family in the situation they've been in, but they've taken a tragedy and turned it into the best possible thing, which is to raise all this money in hopes of finding a cure, and I'm sure that'll happen someday.
Nathan Chandler throws complete for a first down to Carlos Francis of Texas Tech, and a gain of 13. Nick Bonacondi addressing the crowd before the kickoff today, and he referred back to his playing career and his perfect season with the Dolphins in 1972. One more look at Francis's catch. But he said what will be his greatest moment on a football field is when they have found a cure for paralysis and he and his son, Mark, can walk across a goal line sometime in the future. That will be the day that you'll remember above all. That's what the Miami Project is all about.
I remember watching that replay. Of course, his son, Mark, was a linebacker for the Citadel when that happened, and having experience with a teammate in Mike Utley.
Snap, offsides by the defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Being paralyzed by football with the Detroit Lions in my own career basically ended by a neck injury that where I laid paralyzed on the field for about 30 seconds, totally paralyzed. So I understand the passion that Nick has, and Mark. I had a chance to meet Mark. They don't blame football at all. It's just one of those things. And like Coach Curry said, whenever we're put in a tragic situation, you're judged by character and how well you do and how well you handle and help people with their tragedy, which is awesome.
Fleming with a first down, and it'll be 1st and goal to go on Troy Fleming's carry down to the 6-yard line.
I really like Troy Fleming. You see those two big Michigan State guards pulling out there, getting lead blocks. And watch Troy Fleming. See, he's not going to run. He's Walter Payton in it. He's not going to run out of bounds. He's looking to hit somebody.
He's a good football player. He does everything well, and you have to be delighted for a guy like that he is getting a chance to tote the mail some today. That's what he wanted to show in this game.
Yeah, that's Harker and Tate from Michigan State playing guards together. They know what to do. Same thing. Oh, reverse.
Mo Brown of Iowa. They have him hemmed in, and he does well to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Jeremiah Garrison of South Carolina staying put, along with Vaughn Hutchins.
Yeah, Dave, I'm sorry I yelled reverse, but back when I played, when I saw reverse, I was yelling reverse,
Old
reverse.
habits die hard, I know.
Again, they come with the same lick, pulling the two guards, and this time they're trying to misdirection Mo Brown. But I tell you, the South does a good job of playing home. Hutchins does a good job from his corner supporting the run, turning it back inside, making his linebacker star, taking out the blockers for them linebackers.
So no gain on the first trick play. Swing pass for a touchdown. Kerry Davis, the fullback from Illinois. From Nathan Chandler of Iowa. And you can't have a better, more closely contested all-star game. This one continues to go back and forth. And the North, an Azar kick away from tying it again.
One thing a quarterback must be able to do is to improvise. I don't think that was a call play, but he happened to glance out there and see that his fullback was uncovered, Kerry Davis, and he flipped it to him, made a nice throw, and they got it in the end zone to tie it up.
Well, if you're playing man-to-man like Jason Clark was playing man-to-man, the one thing you cannot do is look back at the quarterback. Eyes on your man. That's the rule, the only rule.
Master and Commander has just been nominated for 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Live the adventure in theaters everywhere.
Now tell me that wasn't fun.
Master and Commander, rated PG-13. We must protect this house!
Agony.
Anguish.
Despair. Pain.
Words that should never define the taste of your energy bar. Ugh. Introducing Snickers Marathon Long-Lasting Energy Bar. Long-burning carbs, 16 vitamins and minerals, 4 protein mix, and the great taste of Snickers. Snickers Marathon, the energy you crave.
Tonight we'll be playing Bessemer, and it's always a big game against Bessemer.
Go Nimrod! The Nimrod machine has to start tonight to get to where we want to get to, and that's the top of the Porcupine Mountain Conference.
Waters Meat is going to beat Bessemer tonight.
Go Nimrods! That's what we got to do.
Tied again, 21 all. Two well-balanced teams. That's not always the case in these All-Star games, but talent pickers have done well. Azar's kick chased down in the end zone by J.R. Reed of South Florida, and then he decides to bring it out. Should have gone with his first impression. Only to the 9-yard line.
Yeah, he struggled. He changed his mind 11 times during that play. Should I? Should I not? Should I? Should I not? The rule says this: if the impetus is provided by the football when it goes in, even if you touch it in the field of play, you can keep it in there and it's not a safety. If you carry it in and you provide the impetus, then you got to bring it out. He should have taken a knee, but he couldn't make up his mind.
Robert Kett says thanks a lot. And taking over on the ground now, Ran Carthon of Florida. And a gain of 13 yards. Down near a minute to go in the first half. Mark Jackson of Illinois on the tackle.
Ran Carthon again showing some power and speed, and really will be a tailback if he gets a shot in the NFL. I like those kind of squatty backs. They're tougher to tackle.
I think he's going to get a shot, and I think he's got a good chance of playing. I've always thought Ran Carthon was a good player.
This time, Zach Abron of Missouri. Nice cut back and near first down yardage. Didn't get out of bounds. Clock continues to roll at 30 seconds and a half.
Watch Zach Abron. He's another guy, the fullback from Missouri. You put him with Luke Lawton, the fullback from McNeese State, and then you look at Ran Carthon, Brandon Murray, Troy Fleming. There are a lot of really good backs in this game. I left out Easlick and Kerry Davis. I mean, there are a lot of good backs that got a chance to play.
Anytime you have the ability to get the ball up the field and you're a strong inside runner, you have to bring something special to the table to get into an NFL camp. If you can block, say blocking's your specialty, you just can't be good at everything. You got to kind of be great at something, and if you're a strong inside present runner, that's something that certainly teams can use at the next level.
Guys, you think the decision to go away from the old format of Florida against the rest of the country has worked out well? I mean, at 21-21, you couldn't have a more balanced first half. I think it's been a great decision.
I think it's worked out well. When it was explained to us why they had to go away from the Florida thing, they were turning down some better players in order to get somebody that was from Florida. And I think they've got a nice distribution of talent in this game at every position.
I think plus it gives some more kids a chance to get on film what you want. I would like to see Kent run a little bit of the 2-minute offense, but they go with the draw play right there. It looks like they're going to run the clock. You're not playing for field position. You want to give these kids a chance to shine. Let them throw the ball.
Yeah, I agree, but
in this game,
you just don't have time to work on 2-minute type thinking. So you risk a chance on a big sack or maybe even an injury when you really hadn't had a chance to work on 2-minute procedures.
Well, a terrific first half as all-star games go here at the Village's Gridiron Classic. The North 21 and the South 21. And down below to Heather Cox.
Coach, yesterday you told me what an incredible arm Robert Kent has. What made you guys decide not to use it in that last 20 seconds?
Well, when you got a defensive head coach as Pete is, he was worried about us turning it over deep, but I felt the same way. We got the ball deep in that territory. If you turn it over right here, we lose 7 points possibly when we're doing great. It's 21-21, and we didn't want to give up the momentum.
What about your play calling philosophy for the second half?
Well, we're just going to try to score. I think it's been a good game so far. We're running it pretty well. We're throwing it decently well. We'll just have to mix it up.
All right, enjoy the second half, Coach.
All right, thank you.
When we come back, we'll hear from our ESPN NFL draft guru, Mel Kiper. 21-21 in the Village's Gridiron Classic. Net Bill Curry, Chris Spielman, and Heather Cox. From this facility erected just for this game on the polo field. I envy the horses that get to play on that surface. Have you ever seen a better grass football field anywhere?
I have never seen a field that nice, ever.
Underway as Steve Azar of Northern Illinois sends this one inside the 10, and this is going to be a big return. Jonas Rutledge of SMU out near the 40-yard line. 34 yards on Rutledge's return. So the South will set up from there. And the quarterback to begin the third quarter, we'll see for the first time Nebraska's Jamal Lord, who will really look to show the pro scouts his arm, because that was the thing that everybody doubted and criticized during his career at Nebraska. Never his legs, never his leadership, but can he pass at a pro level? Early return's not good, as that one bounces intended for Kelvin Kai to Florida.
Now, the one thing I noticed about Jamal, and I was watching him warm up, is that he drops the ball. If it's a quarterback, you take that snap, you want to have that short delivery and that quick delivery. He's got a little bit of a wind-up motion that if he does get into camp and he gets a hold of a good quarterback coach, they'll try to change his delivery a little bit, not taking away from his natural skills, but to make it a shorter delivery.
Second down give, Abron of Missouri. All Big 12 backfield at the moment. And Norman Hewer, defensive tackle of Michigan, makes the stop on Zach Abron. So it'll be third down from the 42. 3rd and 7. Of course, there are scouts not only watching this game, but they have been given a chance to watch practice sessions. And not only want to look good, Chris, on a Saturday afternoon, but all week, everything you do could be under a microscope. This is what everybody knows Jamal Lord can do, and he scrambles out of bounds after a short game, but won't pick up the 3rd down and 7.
You're right, Dave, not only for this game, but even for the Senior Bowl when they have pro staffs actually coach the games. And my brother, who's the general manager of the Miami Dolphins, I asked him if he was coming this game. He said, no, I was up earlier for practice, plus we had 3 or 4 of our guys up here for practices. They really want to eyeball the kids up at the practices. They'll worry about the game. They'll get the game on the film and watch it off the film, but they want to see how these kids compete in practice, where they can work up close and personal with them to see what they can do and what talents they can bring to their respected franchises.
Scott Verhalen into the wind. It really knocks this one straight down about the 25-yard line. Fair caught by Kendrick Mosley. These staffs headed by Mark Richt of Georgia and Barry Alvarez of Wisconsin, but the NFL Europe coaches have done a great deal of the work assisting Richt and Alvarez. Led by Pete Kuharchuk, Doug Graber.
Ball, personal foul, face mask, 15-yard penalty.
Luke Lawton, our man that we've talked about much of the day, number 44 for the South, grabbed a face mask of Brett Hudson on that punt and got flagged for it. There was a little argument between Brett and Luke about who was guilty and who was not, but it was determined that Lawton was the one that was the offender. So good field position for the North squad to start on offense in the second half.
And Washington State quarterback Matt Kegel with the give to Troy Fleming, who's been by far the most impressive running back. 8 carries, 57 yards in the first half, better than 7 yards per carry. Down to Heather Cox.
Jamal, you will be going in the next series. What did Coach tell you to get ready for the next series?
Well, just relax. You know what I mean? I've been sitting down the whole game. Got a little antsy. Just got to relax and just do what I could do.
Are you enjoying the opportunity to showcase your arm and really prove to the scouts that you're not just a running QB?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. It's really good to come out here with all these guys or whatever, have fun, and prove the critics wrong.
Are we looking for you to throw in this next series?
I'm looking for do whatever they want me to do, you know what I mean?
Sounds
It's
good.
Whatever.
Have fun.
All right, thank you.
So Jamal standing and watching Kegel go to work on a 2nd down and 10 here. 42-yard line. Play fake and sacked at the 33. Kevin Emanuel of Florida State leading the pressure. And joined by Khalid Vaughn of Clemson.
Khalid Vaughn has been active all day, really. He's been close on some other sacks, and he finished his career at Clemson in impressive fashion. You and I were there, Dave.
Yep.
And they played against South Carolina and had a big win for Coach Tommy Bowden and the Clemson program. And Vaughn was incredible in that game, and he's played well today.
Well, they had a couple of weeks before that when they beat Kevin Emanuel's Florida State team.
Yeah,
in the
that
Bowden
too.
Bowl.
That too.
I'll tell you, he threw a nice little swim move there. He beat his guy inside with quickness.
Intercepted on 3rd and 18. Maurice Jones of South Florida returns inside the 15-yard line.
Kegel gave a gift.
Yep, I was about to say, you have to wonder what Kegel was looking at. He had such a marvelous career at Washington State. Jones is a big old guy, and it's not as if there were complicated coverage with floaters and rovers running around and coming out of nowhere. He just hit him in the face with it.
Well, he didn't get depth on his drop, and he was just kind of sitting there, and Kegel threw him the ball. That's something where the quarterback throws. No, I don't want to throw that one, but he threw it too late. And Jones, opportunity though, he had an opportunity to make a play, made a play.
Running back 22 yards. And the South takes over at the North 18-yard line. Jamal Lord throwing on target inside the 10 to the 8. Jason Rader from Marshall, the tight end. And a gain of 11 yards. Rader, who began as a Georgia Bulldog before transferring to Marshall. 30 catches each of his last 2 seasons there.
This is a good way to use Jamal Lord. On the run, he does handle himself. He's not accustomed to drop back passing. This is the kind of thing he did at Nebraska. He does this well. Perfect throw. Jason Rader, transfer from Georgia, made a nice catch. Now they're within the 10-yard line.
On 1st and goal, Bruce Perry weaving down to the 2, down near the 1, and not quite to the goal line. Inside the 1, though, it'll be 2nd and goal from there. Although the North signaling a turnover. The officials disagreeing, and they signal 2nd down.
You know, we don't get to talk about the offensive line, but I want you to watch Calvin McDonald on this play right here. Big offensive guard that took the linebacker, Hollowell, and threw him out of the hole and was able to sustain his block. Anytime you can sustain your blocks and hold a linebacker up, you're going to win the physical battle. Linebackers got to hit and get. You can't stick and get in a wrestling match with a 300-pounder. You got to stick him, stone him, and get off and make a play. Hollowell held on to him.
There was a lot of alliteration there.
You don't want to dance with a bear. You can't dance with bears.
2nd and goal, 1-yard line. Lawton going for his 2nd touchdown and didn't get in.
Lawton made a mistake. He had a little crease. If he'd have kept his pads down, he would have taken it in the end zone. When you got a little crease like that, you don't want to try to go up and over against this kind of competition, and that's what Luke has learned here.
See, Carl Diggs from Michigan is going to sneak in here now. He's playing down. He's in there root hogging, hits the gap, and is able to grab Luke's legs before he's able to jump. Now, Luke showed some get up and hops there in his previous touchdown. That time, Diggs prevented the get up hops by getting his legs before he can get up and hop.
So Lord on 3rd and goal with the option pitch. Carthon dragged down for a loss at the 5-yard line. As Zach Norton of Cincinnati comes up from cornerback to force the play. He's a bit slow getting up, but he prevents the touchdown opportunity from happening here for the South.
Doug Graber, the fine coach now, most recently with the Jets as the secondary coach, really high on Zach Norton, the Cincinnati corner, who came up, didn't quite make the play, but he sure held him up long enough so that the teammates in the pursuit could arrive, and no touchdown on the misdirection little flip there.
So it's good recognition by Zach Norton because his wide receiver crackbacked, and as a rule as a cornerback, anytime the receiver cracks, you've got to replace and become the on-block player. That's what Zach exactly did. Replaced the crackback and became an on-block player. And as held Carthon up, was a nasty tackle, but at least he held him up until the cavalry got there.
The cavalry?
You remember that? Weren't you in that?
Yeah, Zach Zackley did his job.
Yeah. Turn back the clock night tonight after Duke and Georgia Tech at 5 Eastern. Indiana and Michigan State. As close as they can to approximating the looks of 1979 when ESPN began covering NCAA basketball.
Yeah, the Bee Gees doing a bumper music for that, David. Saturday Night Live.
A pretty good bet, I would think. Maybe some Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald era. Maybe some Meatloaf thrown in there. Good doubleheader basketball when we finish up here, including #1 Duke against Georgia Tech. So after the timeout, Billy Bennett, the all-time NCAA leader, 87 field goals, 31 in a single season, another record. We'll try to break this tie from 21 yards out. Hunter is the holdest at Verhalen. And as usual, Bennett boots it right through. 9:56 in the third quarter. The South takes a 24-21 lead.
So just when I'm thinking, isn't there a car out there I could get excited about? Wham! There's this car with all this stuff. Then as I'm thinking, now here's a car I could see myself in. Wham! There's this other car with all this stuff. Two cars, the same, yet different. Kind of like those twins I met in Chicago.
The all-new Mazda 3 and Mazda 3 5-door. Rethink what's possible.
Right now, get all the shrimp you can eat at Red Lobster. Oh, yeah.
Endless shrimp. So much mouth-watering shrimp, everyone's talking about it. Ends February 8th at Red Lobster.
This is Bob. Bob is doing well. Very well indeed. That's because not long ago, Bob realized that he needed something better in his life. And what did he get? Why, a big boost of confidence, a little more self-esteem, and a very happy missus at home. Free samples of Enzyte now available while supplies last. Just call or visit fordenzyte.com. Enzyte, the once-a-day tablet for natural male enhancement. This is Bob. Bob is playing well. That's because not long ago, Bob decided to go big time. New clothes, new clubs, and a call to Enzyte, the effective, reliable way to natural male enhancement. And in just a few short weeks, Bob has a big new swing of confidence, a little well-earned respect, and a very happy partner back at the clubhouse. Free samples of Enzyte now available while supplies last. Just call or visit fordenzyte.com. Enzyte, the once-a-day tablet for natural male enhancement.
Are we really in Florida? What is with the cold wind and now the rain? And starting to scatter here. The Gridiron Classic, 24-21 South after the short field goal by Billy Bennett. Tell you what, the defensive play of the afternoon just turned in by Zach Norton of Cincinnati. He was shaken up on the play, but he stopped a 3rd and goal from inside the 1-yard line. And now the short kick returned to the 37. And the North will take over from there, trailing by 3, 9:48 and counting in the third quarter.
You're talking about a happy guy. Greg Taplin, defensive end from Michigan State, got the return of kickoff. Man, that's fun.
Yeah, and Greg is the guy that has to answer some questions now. He had some issues with his coach, John L. Smith, but I tell you, as talent goes, he's a pure pass rusher, and that's a guy that can help you.
He's quick. He was quick on that little return.
Yes, he was.
Jim Sorgi, Wisconsin Badger, at quarterback, and Troy Fleming continues to handle most of the running back load. We talked about Jim Sorgi and Robert Reynolds of Ohio State making up. You guys played in a ton of all-star games, college and pro. Were there instances where you found yourself a teammate of someone that you didn't necessarily get along with very well when they were on the other side of the line?
My roommate in the NFL played for LSU. We played LSU down there in Baton Rouge my senior year. We got in a fight at the coin toss of the game. As I end up seeing him on the bus when we're at minicamp in Detroit, and there was only one seat left, and I knew it was him. I said, oh, man, this is either going to be very good or very bad. And ended up being a great guy. His name was Eric Ambelsack, who's since passed, but one of my best friends ever. And it's funny how football brings you together. The reason we got in a fight was because we were both alike. He was trying to intimidate me, and I said, come on, man.
I was going to say, there's got to be a story behind getting in a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Coin toss.
We used to line up at training camp the first play of every year and go at it head to head, and it was like that fight was relived. Then we would be best friends, be eating dinner by nightfall.
Sorgi on 3rd and 10. Pass deflected and still almost caught by Kendrick Mosley. Let's go down to Heather Cox.
Well, guys, along those same lines about the rivals and then becoming teammates, I talked to William Henry and Khalid Vaughn of Clemson and Florida's Rand Carthen, who all said they have tremendous respect for one another. Yeah, there's a great rivalry during the season, but now they love the chance to be on the same side of the ball. They said the only rule is no one discusses wins and losses and who beat whom. That way, everybody gets along this week.
My senior year, Alabama came to Georgia Tech, and The score was tied with 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the half, and they put Joe Namath in. He'd had a bad knee. The score at the half was 14-0. He hit us on 2 bombs, so I didn't like him at all till I got to the Senior Bowl. He was my quarterback. I was the center. We became buddies for life. He's a great guy. He's been a friend right through it all.
And our Aflac trivia question. Who was the head coach for the Miracle in Miami, Boston College in 1984? We'll answer it in a moment.
Okay, one more time. Where do we stand?
Less travel. More video conferences.
Limit the cell phone minutes.
That's not good enough. We're not leaving this room unless we can cut something else.
Can they really keep us here?
What about all this stuff?
What stuff?
All this stuff. What does it cost to create all this? Time, effort, people.
How much?
It could be millions.
Millions.
Come on. Calling Safe Flight, rock hit a windshield.
The Safe Flight repair medics. When there's a rock, we roll.
Good news. We can save your windshield.
The Safe Flight repair medics can repair chips before they crack for just $59.95. And with most insurance plans, there's no cost to you. For repair or replacement, call Safe Flight.
We moved to Earthlink because I only want the internet that's good for them.
Because they're not ready for the same internet.
We moved to Earthlink because it's safe for him, and I get an internet without training wheels.
Different families, different passions, different reasons for moving to Earthlink, like new parental control software, customized features for each child, and filter out websites, emails, even keywords. Call 1-800-EARTHLINK and get 6 months of dial-up service featuring Earthlink Accelerator at half price. Move to Earthlink. It revolves around you.
All I want is a room somewhere, a nice hello, not a questionnaire, and a great breakfast on the house, local calls, no charge, thank you, and someone who calls me by name and says,
Hey, Mr. Jensen, you missed a button there. At Hampton Inn, you got it, Mr. Jensen, with our best rates guaranteed. And with all this, you won't get a better deal anywhere. We love having you here.
Oh, wouldn't it be lovely?
Well, moving right along now. Jamal Lord has thrown complete to Carlos Perez and then ran Carthon on the carry out of bounds around the 31-yard line. Knocked out by Akil Grant of Northern Illinois. 8:09 to go in the third quarter. South leading the North 24-21.
And Jamal Lord threw that ball from the pocket, and he threw it beautifully. It's the best rhythm, the best form he's shown. Getting the ball up by his ear. What Chris would call a shoulder delivery. First time I've ever heard that. And from a linebacker.
Yeah. 3rd and 2, breaking the tackle. Maybe breaking it all the way. Carthon in a foot race. And caught at the 15-yard line by Sam Massey of Morgan State after a gain of 54 yards.
One of the things you like to see in a great back is vision. Now watch his vision right here. He's going to make 2 guys miss. He sees the open area, and he's off. Again, making people miss, using his feet, jumping over a tackle because a guy left his feet, didn't run through him. And right here's the one thing that he may lack, although it's pretty good because the corner had to catch him. Ran Carthon, excellent run because he got great vision and great balance.
What may he lack? He may lack that great speed.
Yeah, there's not a lot of guys.
There's
not a lot of guys that go 80 yards in the NFL.
Lord feels the pressure, steps up, keeps, and Jamal Lord high steps in for a touchdown.
I'll tell you what, Jamal Lord, we're talking about upping one's stock. Yes, he made a nice run. Everybody knows he can run. What he also did was to drop back in the pocket and throw the ball on rhythm with good presence and good feel.
This is what he does.
He busts out of there and runs for a touchdown.
And what happens here, he's going to run over Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson delivers a blow, but one thing I can't stand is roadblocks went out back in 1935. You got to bring your feet and wrap your arms and run through a guy. I don't understand why guys cannot wrap their arms. It's like shoving fish hooks through my eyeballs watching that. Just wrap your arms when you tackle, please. That's all I ask. It's not much, is it, Dave?
Yes, that would be painful.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2004 The Villages Gridiron Classic. Brought to you by the Florida Citrus Sports Foundation. Committed to improving the quality of life for children in Central Florida. And by the Document Company. Xerox. There's a new way to look at it.
Well, with a few raindrops coming down, the race out of the parking lot at 5 miles an hour is on. After a 15-yard Jamal Lord touchdown run, it's 31-21 South. Billy Bennett set to kick it off. Biggest lead of the game, 10-0 here in the third quarter, South, after a 21-21 first half. 6:52 to go in the quarter. As we try to recover from that bit of Chris Spielman imagery.
Is that what that was?
All I know is that please wrap your arms.
Fish hooks through the eyeballs.
Into the wind. Here comes Carlos Francis on the return. And caught from behind by Michael Johnson, the 38-yard line. The Athletic trivia question again. Remember the Miracle in Miami? Flutie to Phelan, 1984. The head coach for Boston College. Who was he? He was Jack Bicknell.
And who was the center?
It just so happens that Jack Bicknell Jr. was the center on that Boston College team, head coach at Louisiana Tech. It also just so happens that Jack Bicknell Sr., believe it or not, is here in the Villages. As Sorgi just does get that one off, and Jack Bicknell Sr. is with Heather Cox.
Coach, you had some historic and memorable moments on the college field. Of course, you're now with NFL Europe. How does it feel to be back in the college game for the day?
It feels great. You know, kids are kids, and I've been out of it for like 13 years, and these kids are the same as the ones I left. That makes you feel good.
What can we look for in this next series, and what quarterback's going in for you as you're making the offensive calls?
Well, Jamal is still playing the third series, and he's got a kind of guy that can move with his feet. So we put in a quarterback draw. You guys will see some naked, and he's been a good kid.
All right, Coach, good luck to you. Your offense is looking good so far.
Thank you.
Ineligible receiver penalty on that scramble by Jim Sorgi, playing for his head coach, Barry Alvarez, one last time.
When Jack Bicknell says you'll see some naked, let me assure you he's referring to a football play, meaning a naked reverse, where you fake the toss sweep and come out, and the term naked means he won't have a blocker, but they've already run that once, and Jamal Lord executes it beautifully.
And while Sorgi's left ring finger is looked at, Nathan Chandler of Iowa returns, gives to Fleming on the draw play. Well, nice footwork by Fleming. Darted left, then right. Here comes a flag from the secondary as Fleming is out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Chased there by J.R. Reed of South Florida. 24-yard gain before the flag.
We'll get the call, then we'll get a look at how Fleming was able to beat that tackler, because there was an unblocked guy right there in the hole.
Holding on the offense at the end of the run. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Okay, they're going to mark it from the end of the run, so it will be a first down. We'll take a look here. Fleming, who's been bottled up pretty well here the last 3 or 4 carries, is able to move his feet. You don't usually dance in the hole and get away with it, but there's another play that induces the fish hooks into the eyeballs of Chris Spielman.
Well, again,
should have tackled him, should have got him on the ground while he was dancing in the hole, but he did make a nice burst.
He did, nice burst, and a guy with that kind of size of 230 pounds will capture the eyes, and not known as a great running back in his career, but certainly his talents are being showcased here today as far as running the football.
After the penalty from their own 48, first down, overthrown by Chandler, intended for Clemson's Kevin Youngblood.
We've talked an awful lot about Fleming and the other backs and people that have helped themselves, but don't forget Keith Willis, the fine tight end from Virginia Tech. He's got 3 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. He's in the game now. We may see a little more of him here on second down.
Willis, who caught all of 5 passes all regular season, 2 for touchdowns in the Inside Bowl against California. bottled up for a loss. This time, Troy Fleming.
It's a good job of wrapping your arms. Finally, I get to see it from Maurice Jones stepping into the hole and bringing his feet. You'll see here. Here's Fleming. Watch Jones. Bam. See, he wraps his arms at least, and he keeps his feet going. Does not drop to his knees. You always want to keep your feet, and you want to run through a ball carrier. You don't want to just run to him. Right there's a good linebacker play. Nice fill by Maurice.
There's his career 1 tackle off the South Florida single-season record that senior year. Chandler steps up, keeps, and spins into a huge hit past midfield by Jeremiah Garrison.
Now you got to check Nathan for some snot bubbles because he brought it. Now he didn't wrap his arms, but if you can bring it like that, that's fine. See, Nathan, you can't do spin moves now. He's doing a spin move here. He's not used to doing spin moves. And that down goes Frazier.
Well, technically Chandler.
Yes, technically.
Well, we moved from fish hooks in the eyes to snot bubbles.
Yep.
Where else is there to go?
Well, Dave, don't worry.
You just scratched the surface.
Yes.
Toss, and looking as if he was ready to throw. Troy Fleming decides to keep.
Another good hit.
Quite scramble back anywhere near the line of scrimmage. Robert Pollard of TCU finally corrals him for the loss at the 48-yard line.
Seriously, Chris, now, fundamentals go away when you don't play football for a couple of months.
Right.
These guys, as the game wears on, we're seeing more good tackling. Seriously, here's Pollard, nice head up, feet moving, a Chris Spielman form tackle with some snot bubbles in attendance.
Second down after the loss of 5. We search for new imagery now, guys. Chandler will go deep. And complete inside the 5-yard line. Texas Tech's Carlos Francis. Marked down at the 3, 49 yards on the strike from Chandler.
Yeah, this is a guy that's helped himself. Now, obviously, some people say he's a product of the system at Texas Tech with B.J. Simmons. But right here, you see Carlos has done well in return game, and he gets deep beyond the receiver. Now, the defensive back does a good job, Rutledge, but he lets him get behind him, and that's great concentration of holding on to the football after you make the catch, knowing that J.R. Reed is going to deliver the blow. But great job of Carlos Francis. He's a guy that's really impressed me today, not only with his ability to run routes, but receiving and returning kicks.
First and goal draw play for Fleming, straight up the middle for a touchdown. And the North strikes back after trailing for the first time today by 10. Chandler to Francis for 49 yards, and the final 3 covered by Troy Fleming of Tennessee.
That was a great throw, too, by Nathan Chandler. Again, throwing to a spot, not to a player. Outstanding. Timing was great. I'm impressed with the timing of these guys, only practicing together for a week.
Beautiful throw and a nice job of blocking by the big guys up front for that touchdown.
Azar, former walk-on who finished his career at Northern Illinois, 9th in Division I history in scoring. Backs on the point after the score by Fleming. We have a 3-point game, 2:52 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Rivalry Week, presented by Cisco Systems, continues with the Rumble on Tobacco Road. Duke, North Carolina, Thursday at 9 on ESPN2.
Great teams are often forged over the hot coals of adversity. On the eve of the big meeting, the 3rd quarter numbers suddenly changed. But so did your presentation, automatically. You have the new Microsoft Office system. It's a Cinderella story.
Going down. Yes!
Oh, God. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your deodorant is? Get Right Guard, the only one with a power stripe of extra protection. Right Guard, right to the end of the day.
Right now, get all the shrimp you can eat at Red Lobster. Oh, yeah.
Endless shrimp. So much mouth-watering shrimp, everyone's talking about it. Ends February 8th at Red Lobster.
Come in. Frank, I don't feel so good.
Maybe you should go home.
Highlighters, and everything else you need to do your thing at Office Max.
What do you mean it didn't work?
He didn't believe me.
This week during our business savings event, buy a Sullivan Digital Dock L-Work Center for only $99 and get a free hutch. Plus, buy 1 HP multi-purpose case and get one free. Office Max, what's your thing?
Had to come prepared today in the Villages Gridiron Classic, where a light rain continues to fall here late in the third quarter. 31-28. It's been close throughout. Tied at 21 at the half. South All-Stars put together 10 unanswered points. For most of the third quarter, they've dominated, and the North strikes back to again make it a 3-point lead. Azar for the kick. J.R. Reed and Alan Suberg are deep, and this is South Florida's Reed on the return. Reed to the 33, down to Heather Cox.
Dave, I just had a chance to talk to Wisconsin's quarterback Jim Sorge. What he did to that left hand, tore a tendon in that ring finger of the non-throwing hand. It's taped together to the middle finger. He said he can't straighten it out of the way. He will continue to play because it's not on his throwing hand, but is in a bit of pain, guys.
And of course, the last thing you want to see in an all-star situation is an injury, even to a non-throwing hand. But at least it sounds like he's ready to come back.
And Jim Sorge is a tough guy. He's battled injuries all year. He had a shoulder. He had obviously the throat injury and also a knee injury. So he knows what it's like to play with pain.
Jamal Lord continues at quarterback, and that throw in the general area of Michael Johnson of Georgia. Not that close, though, and it's 2nd and 10.
When you see a throw like that, when you see a move like that, meaning reading right to left, and then suddenly a jerky throw to the left and into dangerous territory, and you're a pro scout, and I was one of those for a little while, you sit up there and you write on your report, project. This guy's going to be a project as a quarterback. But he's shown the talent today that I think he's worth it. I think somebody should take him and give him a shot and work with him.
And the other thing, too, is he's got to be able to read through his progressions. You got a 1 progression, 2 progression, 3 progression. And at Nebraska, I'm not sure if he had 1, 2, or 3, 4 progressions as far as receiver choices to go to. That's certainly something that he will improve on once he gets in a more pro-style type offense.
And with the timeout, a reminder tonight, Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Steve Young have all the news and stories live from Houston on the eve of Super Bowl 38, a special edition of NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite at 7 Eastern, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Chris, Tom, Steve, Michael Urban, and Chris Mortensen ready to go with the breakdown and live reports from Reliant Stadium. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by Old Spice at 11 a.m. Eastern. Just a little more than 24 hours away from the kickoff of Super Bowl 38. Predictions, fellas? New England here. Anybody different?
I like New England, although I think Carolina does have a chance because they play great defense and they can run the football. But to me, New England epitomizes a team. They always have somebody step up. In the championship game, Antoine Smith stepped up, goes for 100 bones. You go for 100 bones, you got a chance.
I'm picking the South.
That's Carolina?
No, man, I'm in this game. You guys are talking about some other football game.
Jamal Lord. Incomplete. Intended for Jason Rader. Well, Chris and I were talking about tomorrow's game. Were you aware that there's a game tomorrow?
Who's playing? Who are they?
It's Carolina, New England. It's called the Super Bowl. You played in 3 of them.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I think that the Patriots are going to win because they've been there. They're so experienced. But I really like this Carolina team. They're tough on defense. They got a great front 7. You'll always have a chance when you got those guys up front on defense.
New England looks like as close as we may ever see to a free agency or a dynasty if they can win tomorrow. That pass thrown behind Carlos Perez of Florida. So Lord shows the scatter-armed aspect of his game. Just a series after showing the great legs on the 15-yard touchdown keeper.
Number 77, Trey Darzelek. Nice job. He gets the bull rush. He gets his butt down, bends his knees, and gets up underneath the rusher. Kareem Smith, who's got a pretty good load, brings a pretty good blow, and got him stood up. Nice job of pass protection.
Yeah, Kareem's got to not give him his chest. As a pass rusher, you want to provide a skinny target so that big offensive lineman doesn't have your chest to hit. Again, it's quick hands win.
Yeah, but my point is that Kareem had him on the run. He had him up in the air, and he was able to get back down and get under him. It was a nice adjustment. A lot of offensive linemen can't do that.
41 yards on the punt, and the roll by Scott Verhalen from UTEP in San Antonio, Texas. Trey Darzelek, offensive lineman. 31-28. South kicks it away with 2:21 to go, third quarter. And Washington State's Matt Kegel, back quarterback, taking over at the 25. This is Illinois' Kerry Davis. Missed a good part of his senior season with a staph infection after knee surgery. It really turned in one of those scary periods before they could finally beat the infection back. He was captain, as head coach Ron Turner called him the most underrated player in the Big Ten this year. Good pass receiver, caught 39 balls out of the backfield. From St. Louis, a chance one more time to make an impression in an Illinois uniform. This one is complete to Romney Bryant of Tulsa. And a gain of 11 yards from Kegel to Bryant.
You know, a guy we have not seen who had a touchdown earlier is Brandon Myree from the North squad. I don't know if he's injured or because Kerry Davis came in as a fullback. Yeah.
A gain of 11 on the play. That'll move the chains, first down and 10.
Did the rain get to your headset or not?
Huh?
Now we hear you.
Yeah, now you can hear me.
Right.
I think Brandon's got a pull hamstring. He was stretching it the last time Heather talked to him.
Davis to the 38. Inside the final minute of the third quarter. A lot of these all-star games turn into routes, and this one has never been more than a 10-point game. It was 31-21 South, and other than that, it's been one touchdown one way or the other. 21-21 at the half. Probably two more snaps here in the third. On second down, incomplete and almost intercepted, intended for Bryant. And it'll be third down.
And we heard Kegel talking before the game. He's one of the guys that's got a wire on. He's wired. That's the way we're supposed to say it. And he was talking to his receivers about, don't pull up on the post, run through the post. And this guy did it that time, and he didn't hit him. Didn't hit him in rhythm.
Jonas Rutledge of SMU almost got the interception. This one batted down the instant it leaves his arm.
One thing for sure, any quarterback from Washington State knows something about the passing game. They've done a marvelous job out there for so many years. And not a very good series for Matt that time, but he'll get another shot.
It's a nice job of Spencer Johnson of getting a push up the field, first of all, and recognizing to get a big paw up in the air in the throwing lane and knock the ball down. Because Kegel's delivering that ball from a high point, standing 6'5". Nice job by Glenn Johnson.
Navy's all-time leading punter, John Skaggs, with the wind at his back, and the best-looking punt by either punter today. Michael Waddell returns it to the 27-yard line. That's where it ends, and that's where the third quarter will end. A 45-yard kick. And at the end of the third, it's 31-28. South All-Stars leading the North here in the Villages Gridiron Classic.
With ESPN Full Court, you'll get the most out of the second half of the college basketball season. Order now.
It's a little slice of paradise. Sunshine and golf galore. Where neighbors stroll the old town square and the good life is in store. The Villages.
What are you waiting for? The lifestyle you've dreamed of your whole life awaits in the heart of Central Florida. At the Villages, you'll find our friendly neighbors as warm as Florida sunshine, where smiles and good times are an everyday treat. As a resident, you can play free golf for the rest of your life on the Villages executive courses and receive free lifetime membership in our championship country clubs, including our newest club designed by Hall of Fame golfer Nancy Lopez.
Take on the challenge of the Village's newest championship golf course, named for me, Nancy's Legacy.
And the best part, you don't have to be a millionaire to live a life of luxury at the Villages. Call us toll-free now, and we'll send you a free portfolio featuring a video tour of the Villages and complete information about our award-winning homes and villas. It's the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Call 1-866-780-8252 and ask for your free Villages video tour now.
Make your plans to visit the Villages now.
The Villages, Florida's friendliest hometown.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Fourth quarter now from the Villages, Florida, just about an hour or so northwest of Orlando. Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, Chris Fieldman, Heather Cox. South leading the North 31-28. South ball as we start quarter number 4 from the 27-yard line. First down, and Scott McBrien, who started at quarterback, back in. So is his tailback, Bruce Perry of Maryland, and a gain of 4 to the 31-yard line.
You're sure this is an hour north of Orlando? This is not an hour north of Milwaukee?
Weather notwithstanding, no, that actually we are in Central Florida. It sure doesn't feel like it. It's been about, what, 10, 15 degrees cooler than you'd expect here. Kind of a blowing rain throughout the second half. Chasing many of the sellout at 12,000 back to their golf carts. Bruce Perry for no gain. It'll be third down.
I'll tell you this, though. I know these guys are a well-conditioned group. I hadn't seen any fat guys. And but you come to Florida this time of year, and if it's 92 degrees with humidity, it's tough to play these games. So this weather is really good for the players. It'd be fun to play in this kind of weather instead of the heat.
The guy that's kind of been impressive to me is Derek Tolles out of Penn State. And Derek's been fighting a medical condition for the past few years.
This one batted around and still up in the air, finally caught by the South. At least 4 players had their hands on that. 2 apiece. 2 from the South, 2 from the North. And the center, Jake Scott of Idaho, comes away with the catch. Bill, you're living a dream here.
No, I'm not living the dream because I didn't get to do it. I never caught a pass, but Jake got to catch a pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Jake got his head down and ran for at least another 1.5 yards. That way, Jake.
All right, vicariously. You got to see a center catch a pass.
It was vicarious at best.
Thrilling nonetheless, and flags here. Jake Scott from Lewiston, Idaho. Walk-on who turned into a 4-year starter. His coaches think he has some pro
Prior to the
ability.
snap, offsides. Defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I was just about to say, I really have a lot of respect for guys that walk on in big-time college football. Jake did that. His coaches are very confident that he's going to play in the NFL for a long time. He has the capacity to carry a lot more weight. He's lean at 285. He's a very good player, and we joke about him making that catch, but he did come down with the football, and he hung on to it.
Plus, center's such a difficult position to play, to be able to snap the ball and have quick hands like we talked about. Taplin just got tackled in the backfield.
Did he ever? Dreggy has had a tough time with him. Tapping all over the field, and Drake just made one of those executive decisions. I'm going to drag him down. If they catch me, they catch me. I'm not going to let him drill my quarterback.
No flag. They didn't catch him.
One thing Greg Taplin has, there's a quick inside move, and right there's the, I think the referee's got his golf cart running and ready to go. He's got a bingo game tonight he's got to get to, Dave.
That's wonderful. That's your best yet.
2nd and 5. And McBrien throwing complete. Kelvin Kite of Florida is a kind of a quiet afternoon. Gators leading receiver this year.
I got to confess, you're about the most lucid linebacker I know.
I tell you, Scotty McBrien's a guy, again, that is really probably the best pure thrower, in my opinion, that we've seen in this game today. And I like his delivery, his confidence. He's got great presence. He's mic'd up today, and we heard a couple of his sounds. But he's a leader, and that's what a lot of pro scouts look for, and coaches, are the intangibles of a quarterback so they can be a leader in the huddle.
Abron of Missouri spins for maybe one. Scott McBrien, the MVP of 2 different bowl games his last 2 years, the Gator and the Peach. Began his career at West Virginia, and he beat his former teammates, the Mountaineers, 3 times after he transferred to Maryland, including in this year's Gator. He was MVP, threw for 381 yards and 3 touchdowns, finished with his career-high game in passing yardage in Jacksonville.
And in the Peach, he beat Tennessee, and that's hard to do anytime.
Out of the hands that time.
He guns that ball nicely, and I agree with you, Chris. And the thing that we haven't seen him do today that is perhaps that which he does best is to run out of trouble. He's a very good runner. He runs the option well, and even though he won't need that in the NFL, the fact that he can do something with his feet will be very much to his advantage. I'm impressed with him. It's the first time I've seen him in person.
Not an overly tall guy, but he does make adjustments on his delivery, and he'll throw it sidearm if he needs to throw it sidearm. He'll overhand it if he needs to overhand it. But he's able to buy time with your feet. And Coach, you know that quarterbacks that can run are obviously of value in the NFL because of the pressure that it puts on defenses.
I think he has another advantage. Ralph Friedgen is a great football coach of quarterbacks. And anybody that has played quarterback, you think of Joe Hamilton at Georgia Tech, anybody that has played for Friedgen really knows what he's doing. And when you're as productive as McBrien, you got to think gives him a good shot, even despite his size.
Watch a long snapper here. Right here is Robert Reynolds, a linebacker long snapping. And again, the old adage goes, the more you can do, the better chance you got to stay in. And certainly this will be an advantage for Robert when he goes into training camp somewhere.
Almost had to kick with 10 on the field. Bruce Perry scrambles on just in time. High snap. Scott Verhalen, who led Division III 3 times in his career at East Texas Baptist. On that kick with 10:34 to play, 31-28 South.
Come on, I need an answer. If you're shipping internationally, you gotta use FedEx.
Brilliant, Al. You're a real lifesaver.
So then I said, if you're shipping internationally, you gotta use FedEx.
You're so smart.
So I tell these guys, if you're shipping internationally, you gotta use FedEx. These guys have nothing, so I say, you ship it internationally, you gotta use FedEx. That's what I told them.
And I think we all remember the time when Al here said,
If you're shipping internationally, you've got to use FedEx.
Right now, get all the shrimp you can eat at Red Lobster. Oh, yeah.
Endless shrimp. So much mouth-watering shrimp, everyone's talking about it. Ends February 8th at Red Lobster.
We must protect this house!
I'm Jesse James. When it comes to my cars, I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I trust the pros at AutoZone for all the stuff I need. If you care enough about your car, get in the zone. AutoZone.
In a recent study, cold sufferers who took NyQuil slept with much less tossing and turning.
I'll make the bed this morning.
Don't strain yourself.
NyQuil, best sleep you ever got with a cold medicine.
You want to see how we do football? Keep your eye on this. This ain't just football. This is NFL Street. Rated E for everyone. Show your style online. Only on PlayStation 2.
EA Sports.
Boy, Bill, do you wish you'd held that sign up yourself one time or another?
Kids, it's our turn. Please send money. Yes, yes. Billy and Kristen Curry, take a look. Kristen Curry Hunter now. I love that.
Sorgi back in at quarterback, and he throws complete to Romby Bryant. Sorgi, who had some injured fingers on his non-throwing hand, got him taped together and throws complete for 14 yards. As the clock moves down toward 10 minutes to go, North trailing the South by 3.
Romby Bryant catching the ball in his body here, and he has to kind of double clutch it, but nice concentration. He's looked good several times today.
Bryant, who had his best game against Tulsa's best opponent this year, Boise State. He had 7 catches, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, 14 yards on this one, so 25 yards on back-to-back catches for Bryant out of Oklahoma City, and a first down.
The coach makes a great point, and one thing that he'll have to do when he gets to the NFL or in the camp is come back and catch that ball with your hands. I love to see guys catch the ball with their hands because oftentimes you'll get slingshotted off those shoulder pads.
Sorgi well protected again, and again a strike for the tight end, Keith Willis. Batters his way down to the 17-yard line, and the Virginia Tech X has had about as big a day today as he had a senior season. 5 catches his entire season, and he has 4 for 88 yards and a touchdown today.
Watch what he does now. He looks like John Mackey. He catches that ball in his hands, never breaks stride. He doesn't have to stop or hop or all those things that you sometimes see big guys do. He just keeps motoring, he accelerates, and this is a guy 6'5", 260. He's going to play a long time.
Cross sweep. Fleming back to work. He's been the most impressive running back either team's shown today. Run out by Leon Joe, the linebacker from Maryland.
I'll tell you the other thing he was able to do is he throw the stiff arm. And watch him block right here because he does a good job of blocking Pollard out of TCU.
Yes, he does.
He couldn't come off the ball. Watch him right here. So he's going to get his guy inside, and he stays on the block, sustains the block. The end is hooked. And Fleming now does a good job of outrunning Leon Joe to get to the corner. That's hard to do now. In the NFL, it's very difficult to run outside because of the speed of the defenders. But right there, Willis blocking and running. Again, adding to his value.
81 yards now for Fleming on 15 carries. This catch by Doug Eastlick of Virginia Tech, Willis's teammate.
And Doug does a good job of catching the ball with his hands, but the maneuverability of Doug is going to be his blocker now. He catches the ball instead of swish, swish, swish. He's kind of grunting and growling. He's just putting his head down and going. But it's a good job of securing the football, catching the ball with his hands.
Guy who's also having a phenomenal day today is Sorgi. He's 9 out of 11 for 130 yards. Everything he's throwing is right on the money.
First and goal, Fleming cuts it back and high steps it in. Touchdown. And the North regains the lead.
Again, the ability to run with square shoulders, to pick a hole, then burst through the hole. All great backs have patience and burst. It's a toss sweep designed to go outside. He cuts it back, bursts through the hole. Because the defender does not close the gate in front of the ball, he closes the gate behind the ball. He's only tackling with a half a man. If you bring your helmet across the ball, you will tackle with a full man. A good back will run right through when you close the gate behind the ball.
Story of that drive, Sorgi, who returns after getting his fingers taped and quickly engineers the go-ahead touchdown drive, finished off by Tennessee's Fleming.
So just when I'm thinking, isn't there a car out there I could get excited about? Wham! There's this car with all this stuff. Then as I'm thinking, now here's a car I could see myself in. Wham! there's this other car with all this stuff. Two cars, the same, yet different. Kind of like those twins I met in Chicago.
The all-new Mazda 3 and Mazda 3 5-door. Rethink what's possible.
Master and Commander has just been nominated for 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Live the adventure in theaters everywhere.
Now tell me that wasn't fun.
Master and Commander, rated PG-13.
Going down. Yes!
Oh, God. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your deodorant is? Get Right Guard, the only one with a power stripe of extra protection. Right Guard, right to the end of the day.
Cavett Pinot Noir from the Cavett collection. Make it interesting.
It's just something I always knew was there. I mean, whatever works. I guess you could always use something.
Cavett Pinot Grigio from the Cavett collection. Make it interesting.
The island calls out to the NFL's best. These barons of the breakaway.
He's gone.
Rulers of reception.
Are you kidding?
The stores of the big play.
The guy can fly.
Pillars of protection.
Oh, man.
The Pro Bowl is on ESPN. Football is the great game. These are its greatest players. The 2004 Pro Bowl, Sunday, February 8th in primetime.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2004 The Villages Gridiron Classic. Brought to you by Florida Citrus Sports, proud presenter of the Villages Gridiron Classic. By the Villages, Florida's friendliest town. And by the Cavett Collection, imported from Italy. Make it interesting.
Back in the Villages, Florida, where with a little over 7 minutes to go, the North has taken a 35-31 lead, 7:24 to be exact, after the second touchdown run of the day by Troy Fleming. And Azar bringing this one down to the 15 to Kendall Edwards of Fresno State. And he may break this one big. Had some blocks set up. He gets it to the 43. And down to Heather Cox.
And speaking of Troy Fleming, he is our Capital One player of the game with those 2 rushing touchdowns. What amazes me, though, as a fullback for Tennessee, you average 7 catches a game, really showing off your versatility today.
I'm just trying to do what I can do. I mean, God gave me a lot of talent. I mean, at times in Tennessee, I wasn't able to use it, but I mean, I played within the system and did what I could do. And just come out here today, I wanted to show the scouts and the general managers that I have what it takes to play running back in the NFL.
How much have you enjoyed working with the O-line, really an all-star O-line, especially on this last touchdown run?
Most definitely. Offensive line's been great, but I really got to give credit, a lot of it to my guys, Doug Eastlick and Kerry Davis, 2 fullbacks. I mean, they've been blocking well, and they've been helping me and Brandon out this week in the rotation and just getting us some reps. I mean, breathing us up some reps and just getting us a good look.
And they were also begging Troy for a couple of props, a little love during this interview. You're a good man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Player of the game and well-deserved with a couple of touchdowns. And now the South trying to come from behind. They start with a completion to Michael Johnson. Knocked down by Mark Jackson of Illinois at the 44. First down. Robert Kent of Jackson State, the quarterback. And the carry down to the 37 is by Bruce Perry.
It's a good opportunity for Kent, Jackson State, the 1AA school, and a kind of a pressure situation for him. Team's down, it's 4th quarter, he's getting a nod. He's a chance to see what he can do against some of the Division I guys.
And another thing he's doing is handling a wet football, and frankly, that's another thing that quarterbacks have to be able to do. Wide receivers, QBs, what do they do when the conditions aren't perfect?
No point have they been perfect today. There's another strike to Johnson. First down, 27-yard line of the North. Tackle there by Sam Massey.
Two things about the throwing motion here and the difference between he and Jamal Lord. First, look where the ball's positioned. It's up by his ear. He's in position to deliver the ball. There's not a big windup. He gets his feet set, knows where his progression is, and delivers the strike right on time. That's a big key because in the NFL, a receiver may look like he's open, but the speed of the corners and the defenders are so quick, you've got to make sure you're accurate or that ball will be picked.
Hit. Bounces off one sack and finally dropped at the 34-yard line. The second time is the charm for Kareem Smith of Oklahoma State. Down again to Heather.
Player, in fact, was the singles tennis player at Jackson State. Truly a gifted athlete at 6'5", and I asked him, how does tennis help your football game? And he said, physically, it helps me with agility, mobility, and quickness. But he added, more importantly, it's the physical aspects, the mental toughness that he learned as an individual sport, learning the physical willpower to constantly compete, which he continues to do here today.
Well, they'll back up 5 yards. Dean's List student. Got his degree last month in electronics. Volunteers with the local YMCA. A lot to like about Robert Kent.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And it's the most important thing in going to college is to get your degree. But if you're a quarterback, it's also nice to have a guy like Mark Richt say, this guy has football savvy. This guy is football smart. He has that kind of IQ. He can pick things up quickly. And he has a very good chance to play for a long time.
Steps up on the quarterback draw and shows what he can do with his legs to the 31-yard line. Akeel Grant, the tackle there. Under 5 minutes. South is trying to come from behind. 35-31, they trail.
One thing, if you're able to throw the ball, then this play certainly can be effective. It's a quarterback draw, and you see his ability to run the football and a smart guy getting to the sidelines, managing the clock, and protecting himself. But you shouldn't be sucked up on that quarterback draw because the lineman's set short. You gotta go get it.
4 down territory. Here's 3rd and 14. And again, pressure on Kent. Jeff Mack has him at the 34-yard line. The Wisconsin linebacker gets the sack. Clock rolls down near 4 minutes, and it may be the last shot the South can take.
What's happening now is that those defensive linemen know there's no threat of a running game. They're going to have to throw the football here, and they're just exploding off. They're all being held and taken to the ground. But the quarterback, Kent, never has a chance to get his feet set and go through his reads.
Well, the 1-2 thing that I've noticed is that even though the defensive linemen are being taken to the ground, they don't stay on the ground. Right there, Derek Strong gets off the ground and is able to get back into the play and make something happen.
The same thing Kareem Smith did the play before, 2 plays before. He got up off the ground and made the sack.
Final timeout taken here by the South All-Stars, maybe getting ready for their final play.
Our daughter loves baseball, and we tried to get her on some teams, but she just never felt right about it. We thought she would just have to settle for being a fan until Rotary stepped in, and they built this special field. When these kids get to play ball, they're so excited, and they just get to feel like regular kids. They took an idea of just letting the kids play baseball and made it fit these kids rather than trying to make the kids fit the field.
Rotary gives people an opportunity to help.
For maintenance of repairs, bring your car to Route 66 Tire and Auto. You'll receive the service you deserve at prices you can afford. Our dealer-trained technicians utilize state-of-the-art equipment to diagnose the problem quickly and accurately. While we work on your vehicle, enjoy a cup of gourmet coffee in our comfortable waiting room, or take advantage of our complimentary ride-home service. Mention this ad and receive an oil and filter change for just $14.99. Get back on the road with Route 66 Tire and Auto, 6692 Joliet Road in Indian Head Park.
During cancer treatment, Elizabeth could only watch from the sidelines. Today, her cancer is in remission, and she's ready to play.
Elizabeth is one of millions of children with hope because of Children's Miracle Network. We are the alliance of premier children's hospitals dedicated to serving all children. Your support can make miracles happen.
Well, the South out of timeouts, trailing 35-31, and looking at a 4th down and 16 from the 34-yard line of the North. 3:31 to play in this Gridiron Classic.
What do you call it, Chris? What do you call, Chris?
I go 4 deep, 4 seams.
Four verticals. 4 verticals. Good call.
There it is.
Hit as he got the pass off, and it is intercepted. And returned by Akil Grant to midfield. The safety from Northern Illinois returns it 28 yards.
Nice play call by Chris Spielman, the first one he's ever made in his life. It was the right play call, and it was the play that was called. Taplin, who's been giving him fits all day, got in there and tipped the throw and caused the interception.
And Brett Hudson does a good job of playing his route first, breaking on the tip ball. And Taplin did a good job of getting his body on the quarterback, not his arms, but he threw his body into the quarterback to cause the bad throw.
Brett Hudson on the interception and the return to midfield. And now just trying to run out the clock. Troy Fleming, our player of the game, will get it down somewhere inside of the 3-minute mark. It also comes close to a 1st down.
I think Troy really feels good about his performance today. Really wanted a chance to get that football in his hands and run it. And so many times in an all-star game, you just, the situation does not dictate that you get your shot. And it's nice to see somebody get a shot like that.
And take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it, yes. He's done a great job.
This snap as close to 0 as they can get it on the play clock. Chandler, the quarterback. And that is right at the 1st down marker at the 40 by Fleming. 2:24 and counting down to Heather Cox.
Big play for Brett Hudson, who sealed it really for the North. And Brett, I've got to ask, a couple of Illinois players came up to the week during the week to you guys and said, hey, we haven't had a win since September. It's all about playing good individually for you guys, but for us, we need a win. Did you think about them during that INT?
Of course, man. At halftime, they're telling us just keep it serious, trying to win them a game. They lost 10 in a row, so we're just trying to make a play for them and get off the field.
How'd you get a read on Ken's throw?
He just got hit. It was in the air. Made a play. Try to get out of bounds so that we can get the win. Try to get that dude a stiff arm. He gave me a little late hit. Should have been a flag, but you know, I just want to say hi to everybody in Arizona. 1086, my mom and my family. Thanks for watching this stuff.
Very happy, Brett. We'll send it back up to you guys.
Former Sun Devil from San Diego, California, may have sealed the win for the North.
No other team.
Calling Safe Light, rock, hit a windshield.
The Safe Light Repair Medics. When there's a rock, we roll.
Good news. We can save your windshield.
The Safe Light Repair Medics can repair chips before they crack for just $59.95. And with most insurance plans, there's no cost to you. For repair or replacement, call Safe Light.
Craftsman has the right tool for every project, even yours. Talking with Jim here. That was a big job you did in your house, wasn't it?
Yeah, that room where the family hung out all the time. Thinking back, it needed a wall-to-wall makeover.
And the Craftsman Circ Saw with laser track technology came in handy. Cut all that wood extra straight. You get accurate results every time. With 14 amps, there's power to spare. And the front and rear handle design gives you good control. The Craftsman Laser Circ Saw, only $69.99. The Craftsman Laser Level makes lining things up easy.
It's amazing how it turns the corner like that.
And goes across anything uneven. Frees up your hands for working. One finger adjusts the beam. Horizontal, vertical, or any angle in between. The Craftsman Laser Level, just $39.99. Look at that. Quite an improvement. An innovative tool for every project. Ideas for the good life. Craftsman at Sears.
Undefeated in league play at 6-0. They have a 16-game winning streak on the line. They are led by Francisco Garcia, the team's leading scorer. Patino back on the sidelines. That's after football. Back to you guys.
At the 2-minute warning, 35-31. North just trying to run out the clock. South is out of timeouts in the 6th annual Gridiron Classic, played for the first time this year in the Villages, Florida. Moving up from Orlando's Citrus Bowl. It's 1st and 10 from the 40 for the North. Iowa's Nathan Chandler quarterbacking what he hopes is the final series of the game. Continues to work Troy Fleming on the ground, our player of the game, with a couple of touchdown runs, picks up 3 here, and there's nothing the South All-Stars can do about it. So the interception by Arizona State's Brett Hudson apparently will be enough to seal the win. And don't forget Marquette and Louisville college basketball coming up at the top of the hour when we finish up from here in Florida.
So a couple guys that stood out to me, not only Troy Fleming, but I think Greg Taplin showed his natural pass rush skills. Also, I think Scotty McBride, the quarterback, has shown some poise and leadership and a good delivery of the football, being a shorter guy. Has delivered the ball well and on time.
Bill, who stood out the most?
We mentioned Luke Lawton before the game. He played well. And then, of course, the guy that just ran away with the most valuable player award, I think, is Troy Fleming. But the other person who impressed me, that there were really 2 others that were very, very impressive. Keith Willis, the tight end from Virginia Tech that had the 4 catches for the touchdown. And then Jim Sorgi. I had never seen Sorgi throw the ball that accurately that many times. And I haven't covered him a great number of times, but I thought he was brilliant today. Those are guys that I think definitely up their stock.
Sorgi was actually at his best after his finger injury. His non-throwing hand, but had no effect whatsoever.
Well, if you're going to play in the NFL, you're going to play with pain almost every week. So he showed he can do that. And with that torn ligament in a finger, that's very painful. He went out there and executed beautifully in spite of it.
So in this initial year of the North-South format, this game was born as a Florida All-Stars against the rest of the USA All-Star game. But they went to North versus South. I think it was a major success this year because they were able to cast a wider net for talent. Mostly major conference talent represented here. And Heather's down below after this North win, 35-31 over the South. Heather?
And extra, read all about it. The news already in here at the Villages. The North has won thanks to Barry Alvarez and a very talented all-star team. Tell me, how comfortable was it to coach your quarterback from Wisconsin and Jim Sorgi?
Well, you know, it was pretty easy with Sorgi, and actually all these guys. This group of kids really worked hard. It was a fun week. They listened to what we did. They were able to absorb things quickly, and I thought it was a very competitive game. All in all, I thought it was well played, and it's fun.
Coach, who really stood out to you as really upping their stock with the NFL?
I think Willis did. You know, he came in here, we thought he was just a blocker. He showed that he could catch the ball. I thought Nate and Jim really played particularly well, threw the ball around. And I'm sure there's some guys on defense. Kareem on the defensive end really had a lot of pressure and showed that he has some quicks coming off the edge. Those are some of the guys right off the top of my head.
Must be fun for you as well to coach some guys that you're typically going up against, including the volunteer and Troy Fleming. How did you open up those holes for him?
Well, you know, other guys, again, Willis did a nice job on the edge, and you know, I think he played fullback most of his career, but he showed that he could play tailback. I thought he had an awful nice day, and you know, they put some pressure on the edge, and you know, as they flew out there, he could see he had good vision, put that foot in the ground, and had to cut back for a touchdown at the end. But a lot of good performances today.
Certainly so. Barry, congrats on the win and enjoy the offseason.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Dave, back up to you.
All right, Wisconsin's head coach celebrating a 35-31 North win over the South here in the Villages Gridiron Classic. We'll have final word when we come back.
So just when I'm thinking, isn't there a car out there I could get excited about? Wham! There's this car with all this stuff. Then as I'm thinking, now here's a car I could see myself in. Wham! There's this other car with all this stuff. Two cars, the same, yet different. Kind of like those twins I met in Chicago.
The all-new Mazda 3 and Mazda 3 5-door. Rethink what's possible.
Give me your backpack.
You want to see how we do football? Keep your eye on this. This ain't just football. This is NFL Street. Rated E for everyone. Show your style online. Only on PlayStation 2.
EA Sports.
I don't know why everybody's in such a big hurry. You're just going to get into that golf cart jam. 35-31, the North wins. Troy Fleming with 101 yards, 2 touchdowns, and his 19 carries. And Barry mentioned Keith Willis, 5 catches all season for Virginia Tech's tight end. 4 for 88 yards and a touchdown today, and that is definitely, Chris, if you're a guy looking on the professional level, someone you now have to consider.
Tight ends that can catch the ball, but also tight ends that can block are just a huge commodity for an NFL team, especially a guy to get down the middle of the field. Now, he was catching them all on one route. It was basically a seam route, but any tight end that can get behind linebackers with that kind of size provides a big target for an NFL quarterback. Certainly, he upped his stock today.
Bill, on the defensive side of the ball, anybody really help themselves more than others?
Yeah, I think Kareem Smith, who Barry mentioned, and I mentioned him a couple of times, not only a delightful guy, but he really showed quickness and speed and tenacity coming off the edge today.
Boys, all-star games go. This was one of the more competitive ones, and the North comes from behind to win this thing here in the Villages. Gridiron Classic, again, our final 35-31. Coming up next year on ESPN, Conference USA basketball from Kentucky. Louisville will host Marquette. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Again, our final from the Villages Gridiron Classic. The North beats the South 35-31. And for Bill Curry, Chris Spielman, Heather Cox, and our entire ESPN crew, Dave Barnett